reminds me
activate, go live.
It reminds me of a very specific thing for when we talk Singularity, where we're being like, you might as well have it where the companies are confident, where they can be open about their bullshit.
Well, the thing about it is Konami has a history of being, like, MBT talks about them working with content creators. That'll be the fucking day, because Konami has a history of being very vicious to people that talk about their games.
Well, I don't know about vicious. Like, I know that they have a very
blackballed several people.
Well, they have a list of people who can't apply, but I don't. It depends on the context. Like, I still don't understand. Again, this is the transparency thing. I don't know why Coder got caught up recently, and is restricted from playing in-person Real Boy Yu-Gi-Oh! I assume it's because he was one of the people who commented on the whole Master Duel cheating scenario. And like, but I don't know. That's something that I think is different, because like, you say that, but also, Dallas, I know that's not true, because there are still, like, where the fuck do you think these early previews come from Konami? Konami hands you a case and is like, open this on camera, please. So I know that there is at least a bog standard amount of marketing here. It's just a question of like what Konami thinks their brand is, I guess, because like I think Simo still gets some official rep with Konami, even though he insists. Well, I mean, I think partially it's because Konami, not Konami, Simo admits he doesn't actually play Real Boy Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. He's just, you know, a good face. But previously, Simo's been very blatant about saying buy singles, not sealed.
I also know he still goes to events. He just doesn't play actual like tourneys.
Well, yeah. So he like I said, I think he's a good face. But like, I can see why a modern, clean-cut company would not want to employ one Mr. Joseph Rothschild. Because him and his chat can get very unmarketable at times.
I wanted to bring up a point of, it reminds me of the thing where we're talking about the Cyberbug, where it's like...
No, Dax, that's a fictional analogy, no. Don't do that.
Okay, I was say, it's about how a company will only talk to people when it involves their market share.
Okay, you're just not listening.
Yeah, you're just going to say your point anyway, and it's still pointless.
They only talk to people if it's involved selling their product.
That's fiction, though. I made it up.
I'm more talking about your previous thing where like OTEP like talk to people as for like promos, as like aka selling their product, not communication of involving the community of their game.
I mean,
anyway, guys, in case you can't tell, we're talking about Konami of America's business practices because, hey, it's been a while. Hi, welcome to Fail Portrayal.
Am I seriously just being that cynical?
We've been chilling. And Loth will be here, I think, when his computer boots up. He is awakened, and I saw him on his mobile earlier.
I may be being stupid. I just don't know. Am I actually being cynical about it? I don't know.
I mean, I don't even know what we're talking about. You're belaboring a point that I don't understand because I have moved the fuck on and I'm trying to like do the procedure of the show. Thank you. That's it. Hold on. That's a very interesting tweet I saw. I need to retweet. Okay. Anyway. But yeah. So hey, we took a week off because last Tuesday night was basically there was a hurricane gonna happen, so I was glued to the tracking to see where it would go.
Gone.
Yes, I probably would have tried a token effort, but Dallas was out as well, so it was like, okay, I'm not even gonna bother. I'm glued to the news feeds of like where this hurricane is gonna hit. There was no sign of Dallas for like a couple extra hours, and it's like, okay, fuck it, we're just gonna skip. So technically, this week will be our little poll result. So if you support us on Patreon at the 5 and up level, and by us I mean technically me and Lucky, these guys don't get a share of that right now. They're just here for the funds because the pay split would be awful. I would love to make sure everybody was appreciated in this business, but like, damn.
I'd rather you pay an editor first.
Yeah, no. But if you support the Patreon on the 5 and up level, you can vote in a topic poll for Fail Portrayal. And so, of course, last month, you absolute geniuses, you galaxy brains, you titans of intellect, gave me a goddamn tie.
I only voted for DDD. I didn't even vote for my own
I'm
topic.
not talking to you. I'm talking to the audience, actually. There's a lot more votes than that involved. So, yeah, there was a tie between Cyframe and DDD. And my first instinct was to just completely ignore both of those and like invalidate the results because you made it a tie, which you did deliberately. You would have known it was going to be a tie for like several days before it happened, and could switch at any time. You caused this, but considering it is a pay tier on Patreon, that's a little rude. So I was just going to tie break. My first instinct was to go to DDD just to break Axe's win streak on the poll. However, DDD's really large, guys.
But it's really fun.
Yeah,
We just-
I
Oh,
mean,
it is. It will be cool.
Though.
I'm sure it will win a poll
I don't
sometime.
have the energy to do it.
Yeah, but it's
I
big.
say we just do. How about this? I say we just do it next time, and we just say.
Well,
that
I don't know. I don't know if I want to
after
commit
that.
to do it next week because, like, I
No,
don't
no,
know
no,
what
no,
that'll be
I mean,
like.
next time you'll do a. Next time we'll do this specific kind of block. So next month, I guess.
No, I'll just
Maybe
keep it
we'll
on the
see.
poll.
There should still be one for the end of this month. And guys at home, I will probably, if you are a patron or if you want to be a patron, I will probably have a new version of the poll up like tonight or tomorrow. It just matters whose cages I rattle, and you know if Loth exists even.
But yeah, so the reason we're talking about Konami's business practices is,
Yeah.
So the new ban list came out.
Yes, this was technically last week, but okay. Here, yes, Forbidden Limited List. I have tabbed over correctly.
Spoiler, I don't think it's hyperbolic to say this is the worst ban list they've ever released.
I do think that's a little hyperbolic. I don't think this is the
I think it's just-
worst.
I think it's one of the more. I think it's
I
one of the
mean,
more
first of
middling
all,
ones.
there's obvious problems. Everybody has the no Mystic Mind reaction. That's true.
Well,
that
no,
does suck.
That's not the.
Um,
Okay, that does suck, but that is not the reason. I'll explain my reasoning for why I think it's the worst.
Well,
ban.
okay. I guess you gotta, cause like if your complaint is just, oh well, now everything's tier A, I don't think that's entirely true.
Well, I mean,
Tier
my biggest
elements
problem-
may actually be tier 0, but I don't know if it's gonna like win games. I don't like
it
take
will.
tops.
Here's the problem. The last meta was a pretty even split power-wise between tier elements and Splight.
Yeah.
And they only addressed half of that, which to me is actually worse than not addressing any of it.
I mean,
Because it forces a tier 0 format. Because here's the thing, tier elements is also going to get stronger with
well,
the
that's
release of
true,
these
and that is
season
the
cards.
general assumption why they didn't preemptively hit tier, because from the OCG, we know that tier elements is not in its final form. This deck has a new version on the horizon, sold by new product that is coming, that
with
will
this- with
push it up further.
But the point is, without addressing some, like, and even like,
Well, I mean,
there
I
are
don't want to say they
problem
addressed
cards you
nothing.
can-
You can see it on the screen right now. Snow did go back to 0. No idea what the fuck they were smoking with that one.
okay, but Snow wasn't just. Yes, it was. Tier was the deck it was the best in, but it wasn't just a problem because. Of
Well,
tier.
no, yeah. Snow had to go no matter what, but you can't say that it won't, because it is, and I do remember seeing in MBT's Chalice Line Monthly, which happened just before the ban list, that Snow is a real fucker of a card. But also that tournament was won by a pure Runic Mystic Mine deck that is the work of Satan. It is demonic.
And it didn't even need Mystic Mine.
It did not need Mystic Mine. No, that's true. Like, you could cut the mines and just go to, like, 3 copies of the Runic Field spell. It would just still be just as goddamn terrifying. It is a work of sadistic art. It is the product of the Lament configuration. It is the Hellraiser cube of Yu-Gi-Oh decks, okay?
I was also gonna say it's an art piece from Silent Hill.
That's another good analogy. It's fucking awful. Please go watch that video.
I like that deck.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna be
I
honest.
understand why you like that deck from the way I phrased it. I think it is a brilliant piece of work. If I saw somebody play that deck list in person,
I would. Look,
I would
I'm not
stab
gonna
that
say
man
I'm-
just to watch him bleed.
I'm not gonna say I'm going to unironically play that in Master Duel when it comes out, but I'm going to.
I will say there is a thing of, I can appreciate the craftsmanship of a torture rack, but it doesn't mean I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a rough deck. But yeah, so like, and that was out of a finals that was Runic Flu. And by the way, again, to shout out MBT's amazing content creation work, Flu is literally under $10 now. You can get the entire Flu package for $750.
I should probably
Not
do
even
that just to
actually.
have
In
something.
fact, Danny had money left over. He was able to blow a whole $1 on a single main deck D shift.
He didn't have any extra deck though. I think.
Well, yeah, but you literally don't need that with Flu.
True.
It's a Monarch
That's only if you want to
spell.
play like the certain pots to be card draw. So.
And yeah. Oh, even so, hey, guess what? If you can get a deck for $750 without the extra deck, and you want to spice it up, you still got plenty of budgeting room, y'all.
But my base point is being, and
Yeah.
this is backed up by evidence. In the last tournaments, the overwhelming share of decks going into the finals and going into everything, despite the weirdness of some of the winners and stuff,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be taken into account because they were literally one-off decks.
Well,
But the
I mean,
overwhelming majority of decks have been Tier and Sprite.
we should also be careful
by
about the one-off because, like, technically that means that Mystic Mine burns and variants aren't problems because there's usually, like, 1 or 2 guys in Top Cut playing those. But it's still, like, you can still say it's a pain in the ass. Now, admittedly, when is... Chat's a little light tonight. I don't know what's going on with my my
Shizu?
YouTube numbers. No,
That
Darkwing
comes out in
Blast.
December. Oh, Darkwing Blast.
Yeah, that's the next set.
All I'm saying is, if the meta game is broken into 2 decks, and a ban list only hits one of them, that is, or for the majority only hits one of them, because Snow isn't. That
Well,
the
yeah,
reason
no.
it's
We've
hit is
seen
not 'cause
there
it's
are the OCG has already done the much more meaner hits to Tier after Tier Shizu came out.
like
And I think there's something to be said for the fact that, like, because let's be fair, no Sprite card has been hit yet. Sprite as
No,
like
that's
an
true.
engine hasn't been hit at all. The problem is that one of the sub engines in Sprite, which to be fair, I think we can argue that the fact that this fucking engine has been a problem in so many decks, like I think it is fair.
no, but here's the thing: when I'm not
Watch Belly
saying
off.
that Sprite I'm not saying that I'm mad that Sprite didn't get hit.
Yeah, no,
Or
I
I'm not
got
mad
you.
that
I
Sprite
think
didn't get hit. I'm
Chad
mad that-
understands. Tier is definitely coming out the best out of this, and it is pretty blatant
By
that
a
this is
large
because
margin.
the Mystic Maven's box isn't coming out until December. It's been delayed basically like a whole ass year as opposed to like 6 months,
I'm
and
gonna call it what
Konami
it is.
doesn't want to.
This is a manufactured Tier 0 meta. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we'll see, because, like, we will actually see with tournament results. Tier is probably, or Tier variants are probably the best deck in the format, but there may be other variations in there, and who knows, people might actually, with reprints and stuff, go to other decks. It is hard to tell. Just based on our impressions from the OCG, though, yes, this is... Basically, Konami has said you will get the meta where Tier is Tier 0, because that already happened in the OCG. It just didn't happen until the Shizu happened. Until we are ready for our next ban list, and you will like it? I don't know. That said, there's still a lot of fucking interesting things happening in this list.
I'll be very honest. If I was a Yu-Gi-Oh player at any kind of competitive level, I would quit the game for a while. This would be my, like, okay, I go away till next ban list.
I guess I'll just go play it online because it's the one card game you can play consistently online.
Well, and say what you want about Master Duel's ban list. There is no Tier 0 deck in Master Duel.
True, and also
don't know what the
to be
fuck
fair to
they're
Master
doing
Duel's
in
ban
Master
list, they
Duel.
managed to get out 2 before the TCG did,
It's also true.
which is pretty crackled. Now, not to say Master Duel doesn't have its flaws. You may have seen recently Master Duel enabled the ability to craft cards that were forbidden. They so far only allow you to craft about a dozen classic DM-era staples that will cause MBT to do a audio drop when you play them, and that's it. They did say they are planning on rolling out more, but it's a very, like, you literally can only play this in like your own duel rooms with unlimited lists set up. You can only do it between friends, basically. This is a really lackluster rollout of this feature, I guess. I don't know what they're on, because you have to spend resources to craft them still. It's very weird.
No.
But okay, let's
I
actually break this ban list down line by line, because there's a lot of stuff going on here. We've already spoiled.
Yeah,
Tier doesn't really
there's-
get any hits. Mystic Mine is not hit at all. But stuff happened that I think some people do actually
there's some
like.
Oh, trust me. There's other stuff that I can complain about, too. There's another unhit that I will bitch about.
But so Snow went back on the ban list. She was back for one format. Yeah, you can see it. So They did a very interesting thing to hit the Toad engine. In the OCG, what happened was Totally Awesome went back to 0. Toad had slowly crawled his way back from being banned to 3 in, I assume it was the Paleo Frog era specifically?
I think so.
Yeah. So Toad had, like, crawled its way out of the hole finally, and the OCG just threw his ass back in jail. What the TCG decided to do is said, you know what's actually the problem with this? You know what's been the problem since Frog FDK? Ronin Toadin. Throw him in jail. And they're not wrong.
They're not wrong. Yeah, I don't just like it's obviously there's different like hit philosophies. I don't necessarily disagree with this one.
Yeah, because this limits the effectiveness of the engine while not necessarily blocking you out of if you somehow get the pieces from doing,
And
Totally Awesome as the option.
Honestly, what it does is it future-proofs future rank 2 engine support, which is honestly this is the good part of this ban. The only good part of this ban list is probably why it's not the worst one ever.
No,
But it's close. But the thing is, it's close to the thing is it a lot of the philosophy seems to be hit cards that are a problem for future card design. Like Snow is that, in my opinion. Ronin Toadin is that.
Snow is just basically like, and if you guys don't understand why Snow is bad, God, I actually do watch the Chalice Slime, I think, because there's a couple of decks that use Snow. It's
there's
just
no once per turn on it. That's why.
you can do it forever. You can do it forever. You just keep banishing cards. You get to set a guy and just keep going. It's terrifyingly annoying. And there he is. Finally, his time has come. A lot of people assume this would come.
Yeah.
Obviously, while this is technically a hit to Sprite, I think this is not the meat of this hit.
No.
It's just the fact that the OCG got rid of him, and they understand that, like, Hulk is a problem, because so long as you have synchro tuners you can summon with him, and so long as you have tuners you can summon from the deck, it is bad. A lot of people have brought up that Konami banlist explanation we talked about. That literally mentions shit with, like, Spore and Dandy Warrior and stuff, that, like, getting free summons from deck into tuners from deck that float is, like, bad. Shit, dude. You just described Hulk. Like, yeah, so Hulk is gone. He will probably stay there forever with a lot of the other stupid-ass Link 1s and 2s you see on this list.
It's once again, it's limiting to future card design for tuners.
Yeah, so long as Hulk is legal, any tuner that does anything fun in the deck, 2 monsters just get you for free, and then you can do some bullshit.
I wish they just had
glad he's gone.
I wish there was a version of Hulk that was, like, locked to the archetype.
Oh, I'm sure there will be eventually. The problem is that, like, I think he was only banned, like, last ban list in the OCG a couple months ago, too. Like, we haven't had enough months for them to go, okay, so we banned Crystron, Hulk, or Fibrax. How do we do more Crystron support? Because I'm sure they will. Hey, fun fact, new ship announced today. New boat.
I think Patch is, like, the one weakness they had, I think.
No. We still don't have a wind target. But yes, now you do not auto-lose versus Earth decks, which are way more popular than a lot of wind decks.
They just need one more, and then, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, so they will probably come up with an alternative to Hulk that works for Crystrons. Just I don't know when the fuck they'll get to that.
Because I feel like they could make a version where you could summon from your extra deck the level 4 tuner synchro. If it's
probably. Like just so long as they make it say 2+ monsters, including a Crystron, and then the special summon effect is a Crystron synchro tuner. Yeah, like
or a tuner or synchro tuner.
No, the summon from deck has to be the archetype one.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Honestly, if Hulk was still any 2 monsters, but it was just a Crystron tuner and it was a Crystron from extra deck, nobody would play this fucking card.
Yeah, no, and here's the thing: if it was still the same effect, but the requirements were use a Crystron card, people would just start playing jank-ass Crystron cards in there.
True, probably they would have played a Crystron package.
At least make it interesting.
That would be funny. Hey,
like
Dallas, you were bitching about this for months. Are you happy? Chaos Ruler got hit. Chaotic Magic Dragon.
Yeah, it addresses a huge problem.
I'm kind of sad because Punk's just now fucking dead today.
Similar to
kind of. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I was so sad to play Punk. They've lost their primary engine." nobody was actually playing Punk. They were playing Punk with other engines
Like
as the
they were playing
beat.
the Synchro Chaos
Yeah.
Punked, I guess.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm happy this card got hit because it's similar to Auroradon in my eyes, where it's
Yeah.
just it enables a bunch
Also-
of bullshit like Baron de Fleur.
Yeah. Also, I do want to throw out there.
Savage.
We do know that Chaos be coming back because the new they've announced the localization. It is Bestial.
I
Not
think that works
Bisted,
a
but
bit better
Bestial.
than
Yeah, it
Bisted,
flows a little
because-
better. But the Bestials are going to come out, and those are going to be good. Like, I don't know if they're actually going to change the meta with tier, but they will be good.
It now gives me the pun of like they are beasts of the abyss, because
Well, yeah.
otherwise I didn't get the pun.
Yeah, Bisted was a little weird, but, YGO Pro has to do their best.
Try.
And also, I don't know if that's recent. I think that's still a couple sets away, but they did straight up announce that they're going to turn, Chaos Goddess, the old synchro monster that requires like a dark and a light. They're just going to make a whole actual Chaos synchro archetype.
The Sky Surges too, yeah.
So, Chaos Ruler, who is a very, very good generic card that's really rad in lots of decks. Obviously, those decks weren't making a lot of top cuts now, but I think this goes to what you said, Dallas, where this is future-proofing. Konami knows that this card is going to be good. It has been good in the past, and they're just like, get him out of here. And is that the last?
And it's a
no,
hit I
right.
don't disagree with.
The last hit on the list, this one I know is also a little more contentious, is Red Reboot has gone from 1 to banned.
So Megan, you want to try out Labyrinth eventually?
I mean, I got
I
most of
mean,
the cards. I'd probably want
I-
the price to go down a little.
I both understand why this card is banned and understand why people would want it unbanned.
Yes. So Red Reboot, if you don't know, and the reason why I think a lot of people are happy to see it go to banned, technically, it's one of those cards that feels like it should be at none or at 3. Because if at 1, it's just the most annoying fucking sacky one of. So Red Reboot is a counter trap card that says when your opponent activates a trap card, negate it, they get to set another trap card from their deck, but they can't activate traps for the rest of their turn. You can pay half your life points to activate it from your hand, which is why the Saki one-off part. Now, the unfortunate factor is, and the reason why I think now it has been hit, is that part where I said it says you cannot activate for the rest of this turn. So if you activate Red Reboot, which you can do from your hand, it has a hand trap option. If your opponent is on a back row deck, a trap-heavy deck, they're done. The game is over. They can't do anything. And presumably, they've already needed those trap cards set because trap cards require a turn to set up. So I can understand why some people want it, especially considering how fucking annoying certain back row decks are played. Looking at you, Eldritch Stun.
Yeah.
But, like, there's a reason why Labyrinth isn't cutting up the meta. I'm not going to say Red Reboot is the sole reason, but, like, Red Reboot as a Saki one-of is not going to help Labyrinth take off, you know? So, yeah, it's just a really frustrating card because, like, it's that card, especially after sideboarding, that's just, like, straight up like, hey, you playing a trap deck? No, you're not. Fuck you.
Eat
And-
shit and die.
That's just that's very frustrating to play against, you know. So we had some interesting things down in the to 1 section and stuff. So
Yeah, no, this is the section I definitely have the biggest problem with.
so Steam went to 1.
No, O-line's fine.
Oh yeah,
Once again, with Calico Fibrex banned,
and Auroradon banned.
O-line and Steam the Calico fine.
Yes.
No, it's
Wait,
the
sorry,
other
no.
card in the top under there.
Yeah, is it
Are you? Well, Dallas, if you're
Yeah,
concerned about
it's
Cyberjar, you're wrong.
No, here's the thing. I don't think it's going to be a meta oppressively card. It's just a dumb RNG bullshit card that I don't understand why they want it in the game.
Well, I mean, I think it's why
It's
they
it's
like.
Also way
Cannon
too fucking
Soldier-
slow.
It's like
Well-
Cannon Soldier loops. It's bad, but when it's good, it's the most annoying fucking thing in the
I mean,
world.
I'll
So
say this,
why?
Dallas. I don't know how good Cyberjar can be because it says your opponent draws 5 cards, right? Like, that's the big reason why a lot of people are curious about if it'll be good. I'm going to assume the reason why they've unhit it is the same reason they have unhit cards like Time Seal and Yatagarasu even. Because it was a legacy hit that was really, really problematic in the first days of the ban list, and now a flip monster, Axe said this earlier, way slow. Though I do think some people are like, way too much like, oh, there's no way you'll get that to proc in your own time. I don't think you understand. There are a lot of flip cards designed to flip monsters on your turn, buddy.
Yeah, no.
But even so, the problem with Cyber Jar is not the fact that it's a flip monster and thus slow. The real problem, though it is slow, I would want to say, the real problem is the fact that its effect is you summon all the level 4 monsters, or set them, and then you add all the rest of the cards to your hand. So if you drew a powerful spell, or you drew a hand trap, or whatever, you know, like a nib or something, or a hand trap, you know, quick play card, and actually, I don't, you know, I guess it's funny because it lets you mill the low-level trap cards, like you can force your opponent to set effect veilers, but it just, there are a lot of ways this can go wrong for you, and I don't know how many ways it can go right for you.
I understand, but my biggest thing is, what does this add to the game? Nothing, except the potential for some random bullshit deck.
Well, I mean, I think what Konami is hoping it adds to the game is that it doesn't add something to the game. It makes them make the ban list smaller and more relevant.
I don't know.
But I don't know. We'll see.
For cards that I would have let out for that reason, this is not like near the top of
No,
the
probably
list.
not. And you'll notice Fiber Jar's not got because they understand that will do infinite loop things.
Oh my god.
And I do want to
would
say,
literally give me
Farfa and MBT talked about this at length. There is actually a very telling paragraph at the start of that ban list summation they made like 10 years ago where they talk about what their philosophy is. Now, obviously, it's been 10 years. They could have changed. But they talked about the reason why the Forbidden Limited list exists is so that, allegedly, you don't feel forced to play a single deck. And obviously, we talked about this with the Tier 0 thing. You may or may not feel forced to play that deck. I don't know. I have actually seen the matchup. Exorcister does fuckle tier pretty good if you get set up.
I mean, it is just, you will have, what it does is you will either have to be running tier element or a deck built to counter tier element.
And, like, this is not the only time that's ever come up. Konami saying that is still, like,
Dragon
very
Ruler
funny.
format.
But yeah, Dragon Ruler format. Lots of other cases. God knows how long the DAD format lasted. You know, shit like that. So even if Konami says that's what they believe in, they're not perfect about it. This is not the only example of that being incorrect.
Spiral.
But one of the things they do talk about is trying to eliminate cards that are confusing or bogged down play. So I think
another
Fiber Jar
reason
staying banned
Yeah.
is relevant. Like, obviously, yeah, the
Also,
game
but
mechanics
here's the
drifting
thing, though,
is-
Omega. Cyberjar also has a bunch of weird rulings bullshit. That's
Well,
why
we'll
I
see.
don't get it. Like, this might be a controversial thing, but I would have let Delinquent Duo out before I let Cyberjar.
Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to let Delinquent Duo out because of some
Duo
other
is-
hits we've hit.
Duo is
Spoiler.
easier to use.
Duo's a bad
I
card.
can think of some fun and dumb things you can do with Cyberjar in a deck. Like if your opponent is doing a mainly extra deck focused.
True, but it has to be flipped, and people can remove it without causing it to flip. So like, it will just not act.
No.
If it's your-
I don't think you understand how decks work.
Yeah, honestly, like, if you're wasting your removal to
Axe.
pop a Cyber Jar, that seems like a win in my book.
No.
But also, if you're
here's the
playing a
thing.
flip deck, there's so many goddamn cards that are like, flip this card, unflip this card, reflip this card.
Yeah.
Have you seen me play
Guru
TG?
does
Have you seen me play,
exist.
Guru and, not TG,
I was about
Subterrace?
to say Subterra deck with Cyberjar.
I flip my boy, I unflip my boy, I
what if
reflip my
it's
boy.
It would just
Genuinely,
break your-
that's what's
Doesn't
going
it
to
like
happen.
kill your board anyway? Though, so you
I
probably-
know.
I guess, yeah. Like, I guess.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. You set it up so that you can flip up the Cyber Jar, and then, hey, did you get a Guru? Well, you can
Does
reset him and
Cyberjar-
fuck with him again.
Does Cyberjar have an OPT on it? I don't think it does.
God, no, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's a
that's
flip
the
monster.
other problem. There's
I
no
mean,
ones
at
for
one,
turn on.
that's going to be harder to set up. Like, because, yes, you can recycle, and you are deep drawing, but we'll see how it works. I mean, like, if this turns, like, empty jar or deep draw shit, fucking whatever, dude. Runic exists, and they probably are better at that. Because that banishes your opponent's cards.
Funny enough, Cyberjar also does just kill. If you can get a Cyberjar loop going, it does just kill Runic. Like, Runic does just lose the game.
Well, they'll run out
Which
of
is
cards
fine.
first, yeah.
No, that's what I mean. It's like they don't have any monsters in the deck.
Well, yeah, but then
I
they
don't
just draw 5 more quick plays, which they can play on their turn on your
True.
turn because of the field spell. Anyway,
Regardless,
we've got another
I don't
funny
know.
one up here. And like I said, O-Lion is
Just the
nothing.
risk is
Steam the Cloak
weird.
is nothing. Those guys were in jail because of Hulk, because they floated. And Cloak is an interesting unhit because there is more Blackwing support coming out. So, you know, you can let them have some,
Yeah,
some toys.
That's not 1%. That card is not 1%,
Substitute.
I think.
This is a weird one. I don't think anybody had this on their bingo cards.
It said
Well,
Royal,
we
right?
didn't know they would hit Ronin.
Yeah, with Ronin Toden gone, I do not think unerrated Substitute at 1 is an issue.
It still does. Still a lot for engine.
I want to say it's not an issue TM in that it's probably not an issue, but it fucking might be.
I mean, I feel like this is one of those cases. Konami does do this
Someone
sometimes,
might break
where
this.
they will throw a card to 1 and they'll just be like, break it. We dare you. We double dog dare you. And then somebody will break it, and if it's a problem, they'll ban something, and if not, you know, we'll go back here. Like, hey, guess what? Yatagarasu still at 1. Nobody's figured out how to unfuck that one.
No, what are you talking about? Fluundere's Yatagarasu is great.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you can end on a Yata, but unfortunately, it's way better to end on a fucking barrier statue.
No.
And then scrolling down here,
ban
we
the
got 2
barrier
more. Judgment to 1. The OCG also did this, and I do not believe that spellbooks are doing anything.
Yeah, no, it's not a good. It's
Yeah.
not good. Here's another one that I don't agree with.
A pointer?
Yeah.
Yeah, a pointer is weird. I don't think anybody understands the logic for this, other than that it does give you hand knowledge.
I think it's Labyrinth is honestly what they want to hit, which is weird.
Yeah, I don't know why you would bother.
It is searchable by Labyrinth.
I just-
yeah.
I mean, I
don't know
guess
why-
it is a card that does give you hand knowledge that is trap trickable, that you cannot now you can't trap trick it. So I
But,
guess.
like, for the most part, what
Within
the
Labyrinth
pointer
of
was
ways
used for
to get out like
is to get rid of hand
like normal
traps.
traps. Other ways too.
I think they have a
it's-
couple of ways to work with normal traps, but mostly their effects proc when you activate normal traps is the thing. Especially traps to remove monsters from the field, which a pointer doesn't do. But yeah, like I said, this might just be like a spirit of the thing kind of thing. Generally, Dallas just mentioned stuff like Delinquent Duo, like that's why like Confi and stuff like that
Yeah, but-
are hit for hand
Omega
knowledge stuff.
counterpoint. They also put Trish back to 3 recently.
Well, Trish doesn't give you
Usually
hand
it's not the
knowledge.
word
That's a
I use
random
for
rip.
that.
That's true. No, Duo doesn't give you hand knowledge either.
True,
I'm
right.
sorry, just once again seeing the,
Hey, who the fuck
limited
knows? Maybe they
list
could do Duo to 2.
and just
No,
in
yeah,
a row
that-
seeing 3 Sky Striker cards.
Honestly,
Yeah,
that's
Striker
why I
is,
said that's why I said Duo. That's why I said Duo over like I think Duo is worse than both Forceful and Conte.
Yeah, that's fair.
I-
Like Forceful and Confi, those probably need to stay gone because they let you look at your opponent's hand and snipe a card.
Especially Forceful.
Yeah. And a pointer does something kind of similar, but it is a
But
trap
it-
card, so you can't do it. You have to wait to use it.
And it's only till their opponent's next end phase, and you have to pay 2,000 life points.
It's a weird one.
I just don't
yeah,
like them hitting. I don't like them hitting side deck cards. That's my only thing.
True. There's a lot of side deck hits,
I
and
don't
not
like
even
that.
honestly, not even the side deck cards people are complaining about.
Yeah, that's
like-
the thing. It's like if you're gonna hit
Uh,
a side deck card, hit Mystic Mind.
The 2 is still here. Desires is still limit 2 for some ungodly reason. I think Konami just forgot and arguably Tenki as well. If you if you put Tenki to 3, Tri-Brigade's not coming back.
No. Well,
So
yeah.
I didn't even know, was there something a Tri-Brigade engine is good in? I feel like
It's not
the
even a good bird.
the spirit
Quick
of
Graveyard.
like bird up shenanigans has completely moved on to flu is you're weird. You like birds? Play this.
Are you trying to make a bird flu joke?
Well, it's Flunderies. And then we just have a shitload of unlimits. So, Dynamite Knight, unlimited. Okay. Wasn't doing anything. Shooting Riser went from 1 to unlimited. Okay. We literally don't know why Konami limited it at all. Like,
That was.
there are
yes,
theories, but
that-
nobody knows. Fusion Destiny goes back to 3 after going at 2. They hit Verte, doesn't matter.
Yes. Now you can play Fusion Destiny the way it was intended.
Yes.
Just
Nadir
draw it,
Servant
loser.
now going to 3 is interesting, but it was only at 2, so it doesn't really matter.
I I'm biased because I like whatchamacallit as a deck, so
Dogmatica.
I'm happy it went to 3. Yeah, Dogmatica.
Yeah, and well, one, the OCG has announced there is still more upcoming Dogmatica support. They've got a big boy level 12 ritual coming. Fat stack ritual shit coming. But also, there are some synergies with some upcoming decks, so we'll see how that one shakes out.
Like Dogmatica is one of my favorite engines,
Yes.
so I'm biased in that I
Hey,
like
that's
this
fair.
hit.
You know, we like engines. Trickstar Light Siege 3, yeah. Nobody's doing
Yeah.
anything with that.
Like
They
As
haven't
our
printed a
local
card
Trickstar stand, nah, that's not a problematic card.
I don't think Trickstar's role is going to become relevant just because.
I
of
don't
the
think
hit.
it's
Tri-
not-
And hey, if it is, you know what you do? You should put Droll on the list.
I mean, they
Droll's
could
really
just
annoying.
they also could just make more Trickstar cards. That'd be cool.
Yeah, but you need Droll for certain decks in the not in the format actually. Droll's kind of shit right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real.
And
Most hand traps are.
Wall of Revealing Light. Yeah, it's funny considering what our subject
See,
is tonight.
this is another one that I'm like in the category of like Cyber Jar.
It's probably
I
not a
understand they
problem, but
wanna-
if somebody can figure out how to make
Yeah.
this relevant,
There is only like this is what I mean. Like there are only bad things that can come from this unhit. There's no good things that can come from this unhit.
true. It is interesting. Like I feel like Konami, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those weird things we've talked about. Ban lists can't please everybody, right? Like MBT has now made it a regular thing for I think a couple of years now almost to do his, more on ban list tournament and just be like, I will emphatically prove you could unhit a lot of cards. And hey, he's usually wrong about at least a couple of cards because he's trying to hit like an arbitrary quota. But yes, a lot of cards probably could come off the ban list. I don't know if like people saying that to Konami are like getting Konami like edgy, like, oh shit, our ban list is so complex. People are complaining about it. We need to simplify. So they let cards out just for the sake of letting cards out without a care. Because sometimes it feels like they do that anyway. So I don't know. But
that's
like
the one that big thing I've always disagreed on with MBT on. Like, I don't agree on unhitting cards just to unhit cards. I don't think a big ban list is a problem.
I would honestly tend to agree. I think you should hit the cards that cause problems and go from there.
Like,
The
honestly,
one
there
card,
are cards I want to be hit because not even because they're good, but just because they like I want Amazonas Archer Cannon Soldier Toon Cannon Soldier to be hit just because there's no way to use those except for evil.
Yeah. Telephone FTK.
Yeah.
It exists and it's cheap because MBT did that on Broke Boy. I will say I do love Broke Boy because like
I wanna see the finale
obviously
really badly.
I think that like there's still a point that yes, some of the most ultra competitive cards and decks you're not going to be able to afford on a shoestring budget.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of fun that can be had, and you can totally clean up your
No,
locals
At
for cheap.
a locals level, Yu-Gi-Oh! And honestly, I would argue most card games at a local level are fairly cheap.
Yeah.
It's
And
just-
honestly, if you can find a cheap core and then you buy expensive staples,
Yeah.
there's some stuff to be had there. Hey, guys,
The-
guess
the-
what? Third access code reprint confirmed. And it's going to be
biggest
the equivalent of a
problem
common.
The biggest problem right now is just that every competitive deck right now is hella expensive.
Yeah. And that's the unfortunate thing where like
And it
people
has
really
been for years.
people really want to get into Sprite and Tier, obviously. Those are brand new. They're not getting their reprints for like a year, like and honestly, I don't really know what in the production schedule Konami could do. I guess they could stop printing because the tins only include stuff from basically the last year anyway, I guess you could print the tins earlier in the year to get your reprints sooner, but like in their current product cycle, other than like side sets like the new Battles of Legend, Crystal Revenge or whatever.
I'm gonna be honest. I'll say I'll take a piece of advice out of Wizard's book in make the deck staples and starters cheap and at low rarity, and the end game bosses at high rarity.
Yeah, I
Because
guess
that's the biggest problem with the meta decks is that their starter cards are the highest rarity. Like
Well, you need
blue
multiple
is a
stuff.
secret. The tier field spell is a secret.
Yeah. Hell, that's it's the same for like Labyrinth. Like obviously the payoff is expensive, but also the two other main deck monsters that are part of your like starting engine are a pain too.
Like I'm fine with like
I guess
gigantic Splight being
like the
however
Ultra,
many
yeah.
dollars it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they could
Just
try
don't
that.
make it
I know that they kind
starter
of done
secret
some.
rares.
They've. The main thing is Konami used to do that. We've done a lot of prog, and someday we'll find a schedule that works for us to get back to that.
Konami used to be great at that.
I mean, yes, you can
Dallas,
say they
you
used to be
reminded me
great,
of
but
something
how
very
many
interesting.
fucking disappointing packs did we open? We got, oh look, an Ultra. It's fucking
let me rephrase
useless.
that. From the Zexal era onward, I think they've been great as far as rarity goes.
Okay, yeah. I think there's some different levels. Like, obviously, they've pivoted hard into, like, the secrets and ultras are the chase cards.
Or the extra deck monsters,
Yeah,
which I think is what it should be.
True. The generic extra deck monsters is, I think that's fair to raise. But there's a lot that's, like, weird out there. And I'll admit, like, Master Duel also does this really weird, right? Like,
Master Duel is
what,
just an
what counts as an ultra?
Master Duel doesn't have a rhyme or reason.
Well, honestly, the rhyme or reason is they invented these things called secret packs, and then they realized they needed to make ultras for archetypes that suck ass and should never be printed above common.
But even then, what cards are ultras in certain archetypes is just bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's one of their. Konami likes to say data-driven a lot with Master Duel. I think they're a little too data-driven. They should just do some fucking surveys sometime.
If I never hear that phrase again, it'll be
Anyway, the last card we haven't talked about is Benton was at 2. It has gone back to 3. We'll see. So, like,
I don't think the 2 to 3 is gonna do much.
no.
I'm gonna be
I mean,
real.
this basically means Drytron is back to full power.
Is it
Eva
here
was
still?
here, wasn't it?
I mean, that's true. Eva is still banned, but I think Ben 10 loops were way more important than Eva was. EVA, but, like,
I mean,
at the same time, Drytron being at full power, does that
Drytron-
mean anything?
well, no. For right now, no, because Drytron just dies to tier. Like they just die. That's their horrible matchup for them. So
Good.
factually, it doesn't.
Also,
do it. They will
arguably,
be kept out of the
if I
matchup.
remember my Drytron combos as well, Drytron would also be a deck that doesn't do super great against Exorcister too, right?
No,
Because they use
and
a lot of
also-
graveyard activations.
and
Yeah, that's
also they don't do well against Splight either.
yeah.
Like-
So Drytron has a really bad meta matchup. So that's fair to hit Ben 10. We'll see if they come back after the meta shakes up a little. I need to double check my product releases. We'll see if there's anything crazy happening.
just
Like I
hope
said,
this means
Konami
new
is
Cyber
doing
Lanes.
better about some
I just
stuff.
hope this means more Cyber Angel support, honestly.
Yeah, we can only hope. Because there's a new cheap Ash source in the Crystal Beast structure deck that came out and has Ash Blossom in it. Also, not Ghost Ogre, the other one.
Those cherries?
No, not that one. The graveyard one. Underworld, Ghost Bell.
Ghost Bell. and
Yeah, I believe it's
Haunted
Ghost Bell. Mansion, yeah.
I'll feel
And
a
we
little
are
bit
reasonably
silly.
certain the Dark World structure deck coming out in the not-too-distant future will include, at minimum, a Tsuchinoko reprint, along with possibly some other staples and
I'll be a
generics.
little bit snippy with them in that they seem to only reprint hand traps when they fall out of meta favor. Because right now, Ash, Mansion, even Access Code to an extent are kind of bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think Access Code is bad. It's just none of the top decks make him easily.
Well, yeah. You know what I mean by
Yes,
bad. It's
yeah.
they're out of favor.
Yeah.
Right now, it's all the card that they need to reprint because it's ridiculous is Forbidden Droplets.
Yeah,
That's the big
droplets were in an OTS pack, and they were just in the
There's-
tins.
it's
Hey,
still
by the
over
way,
$100.
guys, I own a droplet. I'm a rich. I got one. I bought one tin. I got one droplet.
Okay, you should sell it because I think it's still $80.
Probably. It is still secret. That's the problem. And I got to admit, I think you're right. I've ever since Master Duel introduced the droplet
It's 50. It's
special
only
pack.
$50.
That's still really expensive. But ever since Master Duel introduced that droplet pack and gave me one free droplet, I'm like, yo, dog, droplet's great. Like, I guess I wasn't running decks that droplet was good in before, but damn, droplet's great if you can make it work.
It's the thing about Droplet is it's very good against certain decks, and then other decks
Well, yeah.
it's just
Droplet
It just
is
doesn't
basically
do
the
anything.
same as a Lightning Storm or a Dark Ruler, right? It is a board breaker.
Well, it's a specific kind of board breaker. Because the thing is, I will play Ancient Warriors and someone will droplet me and I will laugh.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't do anything.
You'll just recycle your unit. You'll
No,
use
I just
cards.
go to battle phase and kill you.
Oh, okay. I thought
So
it had the
you-
attack. Or,
You
Yes,
don't
it
have
does
enough having attack.
Yeah, no, I think what he's getting
That's
at
the
is it
problem.
doesn't matter.
Unless you pitch your entire hand, you don't have enough to have that many things attacked.
By the way, chat, you're being quiet tonight. We've been going for like 45 minutes, and we only got a couple responses. But don't worry, we've wrapped up the ban list. I think we're gonna move on to side
Yeah.
frames pretty soon.
Oh, did we even talk about Dynamite?
No, I mentioned it earlier. They brought him to 2, and I said I don't think it'll do anything.
No.
King Riser's back at 3.
Yeah, we brought that up as well. Like when you see the I'll make sure this is framed. Yeah, you can see my cursor. When you see the 2 to unlimit mark, that's just the banlist jail method. Like all of these cards were on the semi-limit list last time, except for Shooting Riser, which is like going from 1 to max. So this is just the natural process of them de-jailifying things, you know.
Yeah.
And honestly, I gotta be real. Other than maybe Feather Duster to 3, we'll see. Because Raigeki to 3 was fucking crazy.
Oh yeah, Spellbook of Judgment. Forgot about that.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier. It's
No,
not gonna do a lot.
I'm still gonna maintain. Please move Slash Draw to 3. It's still bad. It's still awful. It doesn't do
Yeah.
anything.
Slash Draw is probably
And also,
decent.
Infernity Archfiend can come to 3 as long as you leave Lawn Chair there.
Isn't oh no, we're in spells.
No, Lawn Chair is still.
Yeah, and
there.
yeah,
And it
Archfiend
should
is still
stay
limited.
there.
Okay. And they already brought back Jet Synchron before they hit Hulk to 1.
Yeah. I think
Oh
that's
right,
all the
Red Rose
tuners
is
they
still
can.
limit. Hey guys, you can fix that.
Yeah.
You can
please
unfuck that one.
unlimit
Nobody's
unlimit
playing
Red
pile
Rose,
decks
please.
anymore.
Please.
Thank God.
As, like, the
Dude,
one
actually, this is a good-
person
this is a
on
good
Earth
question.
who plays
In the
Rose.
TCG
Damn, I forgot Adventure existed. What the fuck is wrong?
Well, that's what I was about to say. Did we get any hits to the adventure engine in the TCG?
Nope.
Yeah, I guess you just don't need to. That's
I
very
mean, it
interesting.
sucks here's the thing: it sucks against Tyrant Sprite.
Yeah, I guess that's
Like-
it. Because, like, the OCG already had, because they're, like, 6 months ahead of us, they had already hit. And then they're just kind of fucking around with new support and different options.
Like,
So we'll
Griffin-
see what happens
Griffin
with this.
Rider is actively bad against Tyr, and it doesn't really do anything to Spike.
Yeah.
So
So, yeah, we'll see how that shakes out. And obviously, right, that's part of that interesting because the formats really are different. Like, Adventure just doesn't have to be hit in the TCG right now because it's not doing things. But in the OCG, the Adventure engine came out earlier. It came out before, like, Sprite and Tyr were able to reach their final forms, and so it was more popular. Destrudo is still Limit 1 for some ungodly reason.
don't unlimit that right now. What do you
No, what I
crazy?
mean is, like, he go back to jail. As much as lose the game dragon is funny,
he's not really doing anything right now.
yeah, I guess, but Bestial is about to. Well, then they wouldn't hit him because Bestial's about to come out. But maybe he'll go back when Bestial comes out.
Hopefully.
Let's see, Birdman at 1. God, Miska's still at 1. I don't know. Could we unfuck that?
I think we could, and it wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cares
Dino's
about
been
Dino.
cracked out.
You could also, honestly, could probably unlimit Tempest.
I don't know.
Little baby Tempest. You think there's a problem? He only
I reckon-
searches wind dragons when he's banished.
Do,
doubt
does
they
he
could do-
search
they can't do a function,
dragons when
no.
he's discarded though?
Yeah,
That'd
I
be
guess
my
his
only. That's
yeah,
my
if his
only
effect is
reservation.
generically when he's discarded, I guess that because you
I
could
think
always
Blaster
Tempest for
needs
Tempest.
to come out of jail.
True, Blaster to
personally.
1 is probably valid.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a lot of options on here. But okay, I am going to switch us back over to our.
Oh yeah, that was for. I want to bring
Regularly
this up earlier.
scheduled,
I think they did it. I've heard recently they reprinted Black Lotus.
Well, they didn't actually. So I know a little bit
Oh,
about
okay.
this. Wizards has announced they are quote unquote reprinting cards from the reserved list. However,
Thank you.
However, Dallas, they are doing them with special card backs, so they are not legal cards.
That's
They are
fine, I don't
effectively
care.
official proxies, and if you want to
Yeah.
open them, you have to pay $999 for a pack.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Well, that's.
Yeah,
know
so,
about
hey,
that,
remember
but
how we said, like, Dallas has brought up sometimes Konami needs to take some things from Wizards' book? Wizards still has some lessons to learn about a couple of things.
Yeah. Look, Wizards is probably so they do too much. That's all. Konami does too little. Wizards does too much.
The Yu-Gi-Oh equivalent of this is that special platinum card they did for Blue Eyes White Dragon, which involved
basically.
literal precious metals. These do, I think, have like a gold framing on them, but yeah, these are basically official
Wizards also
proxies so that
is
you can.
weirdly bad about their foils. Like Yu-Gi-Oh foil,
I'd rather
they're
they
nice.
What was it? Blue Eyes White Baboon.
Yeah, I haven't actually like handled a Magic deck, so MBT, who I know obviously has played Magic, Mono Bluetron, duh.
No,
Um,
really?
But he talked about how Magic foils will curl depending on when they were made or what set they were made in. So
Yeah, it's pre-mirrored and a lot of them curl.
yeah, so I don't know if they've worked on that one or what, but yeah,
Well,
that's something
I just
that
think
Yu-Gi-Oh
they
doesn't
should
have a lot
get
of problems.
rid of the reserve list. That's always been my opinion. Just fucking kill
Well,
it.
yeah, that's an opinion many of us have because that's just
Well, that's because we're not collectors.
yes,
So,
tell investors to
Collectors are
die.
the devil.
So, Omega, on the side frames, considering how all of the gears do the same thing except have different triggers, could we all just put them side to side as one thing?
No, they won't all fit actually. There's like
Oh, okay.
6 of them. Yeah. I don't think we have that much space to actually have them on screen.
I mean,
and look
you-
at them
you
up
fit,
close
like-
because
you
like
fit
I
8 Evil
haven't
heroes on one page once.
looked at them. True, but we probably shouldn't have done that. It was pretty bad. I had to scroll a lot. That was early. I can say I've learned my lesson. But we're going to start Sci Frames. So, Sci Frames are a very interesting archetype.
They are. Here's a weird story. I really started playing them. I thought they'd be more interactive instead of just being.
Well, no. Sci Frames are
interactive?
eminently interactive. They are only
Yeah,
interactive. You can
only
only play
interactive.
when your opponent does something.
That's the problem. It's only interactive. There's
Yeah.
nothing you can do yourself.
Yeah, so I made that joke in the description about is it your turn or mine. Psyframe is one of those decks, not the only one, and I don't think the first, but definitely one of the more, like, realized ones that is, like, you don't necessarily play Psyframe on your turn. You play it on your opponent's turn.
Except for the link to actually
Your
play in your turn.
turn. Our turn.
And there are other modern decks, like, for instance, Flunder does also do the same thing, but they also have a game plan on your turn as well.
I'm gonna be honest, Omega. In our progression series, I'm gonna kill that field spell as soon as it comes out. I fucking hate that thing.
Fair enough. I mean, I think the only well, no. If we're actually depending on where we're going, if Robin is still here and if Vesper ever wants to come back, the Vesper is doing their own thing with streaming and stuff. But if you're out there, Vesper, you can show up to Fail Portrayal anytime you like.
Well, no.
But like, the main person you would need to worry about, unless just somebody got really lucky, is me because I slam jammed Flunder in the No Extra Deck Festival in Master Duel. I understand how that deck works very perfectly, but I also am not as much of a cretin. I did run one copy of Apex Avian. I also actually ran Snowls because sometimes I understand that you will win the game not by your opponent surrendering, but by actually reducing their life points to 0. And I never ran Barrier Statue.
I just hate the map. I just hate the, oh hey, you normal summoned? I'm gonna take another turn.
Yeah, that is. So I really think they probably, obviously they won't because I don't think Flunder's that good, but like they really should have split the map into the field spell effects into 2 effects. Because on the one hand, for the ability to get your summoning started by letting you reveal, pitch, summon, because you don't have enough guys in rotation, that's very important. Or in case your opponent just solemn warnings you and eats your regular normal summon. That's very important to the deck's engine. But yeah, the fact that it also has a reciprocal effect for if your opponent normal summons, you normal summon, which causes all their effects to proc.
I will say I have some things to say about this art because this art's actually crazier than I thought it was. So we'll get to this
Yeah,
later.
no, Psyframes are very interesting in their aesthetic. We got interrupted talking about other stuff, but
I wanted to open with being, I did not know. We had an open All right, Magnus.
I haven't even finished my opening. Because I was going to say, we didn't actually describe this archetype very well. Dallas interrupted as usual with his Flunder comment. So, Psyframes are light psychic-type monsters. And you probably know them because of my names. You probably know Gamma most of all, because Gamma is the effect negation one. That's not just a random hand trap with a Garnet. That is a whole archetype that works like that, and this is the Garnet we are showing on screen currently. So some could argue that these guys are a little bit like a new take on I cannot think of the word that starts with Gen and ends with a bad archetype.
Gemini?
Gen X?
Gen X, thank you.
Oh, okay.
No, there was an N in there, Loth. Yes.
Oh, I couldn't.
Some people have commented that this is kind of like a modern Gen X because it revolves around a weird normal monster.
A single normal monster,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Or
Axe,
Gem Knights honestly works too.
yeah, kind of. Gem Knights have more normals, though. It's just that Garnet is the Garnet because of his stat line. But yes. Axe, what did you want to say about Driver now that he's on screen?
So I didn't know he had a right arm in the art.
Oh, yeah, no, he's got both arms.
I mean, I didn't know he looked like an electrocuted BDSM fetishist.
Or
I
the
don't
fact
know
that
how
I
you
can't
didn't
make
know
out
that.
what the fuck his design actually is.
Well, yeah, he's doing a very speed pose. One of their, we're probably not going to show a lot of the spell traps. I use the
Wait, no,
field spell
he's doing
for
the
other,
E-Telly pose. He's doing E-Telly.
I guess.
Wings of Gimp.
But I use the field spell, which is probably the best one art-wise because that is the transformation sequence. The others are just Psyframe Driver goes fast. But yeah, this is Driver up close. He is a guy. I'm going to assume, Axe, you probably thought from a distance he had like a weird cone head thing on.
I
And instead of a
maybe-
right arm?
I never noticed it because in the art, you usually see more of like the bottom 70% of the card art most of the time.
Anyway, no, I always knew he had something behind his head. I don't think I was sure it was an arm when it was tiny, but yeah, no, he's got two arms.
I just don't think I ever questioned it at the
skinny
time.
theirs. And yeah, he's a little weird. He's got a bit of a theme going on with some lightning. Very anime. Yes, he does need to go fast to avoid the security force. Except he is security force. Bum bum.
I'm more like security
no.
force, but they're a deck
Well,
that
security
will-
force is an archetype that came out like 4 years later.
I like them a lot, even though I feel like they will never be good.
Well, no, because their gimmick is column control, which is like that's what one of those things is like. If you made the S Force too good, they would probably be oppressive. Is the problem?
Okay.
Like I think they're made to be balanced, which is probably why they are not popular. Funnily enough, yeah, I don't think there's a lot to say about Psyframe Driver. Like, he has a very distinct aesthetic. It's very weird. This is definitely
He's very
like
Leather Daddy.
yeah, my thought is like, yo, what if we made Hellraiser anime?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it was anime Hellraiser, but it is anime Hellraiser.
No,
Yeah,
I'll
I
say
will-
it. It's weird anime Hellraiser.
Yeah, this is like Gimp. What's the proper term? Bishonen. Yeah, this is Gimp Bishonen Pinhead.
Oh god,
Yeah.
no.
No, it's probably just because it's
No,
all like.
it is.
I mean,
Even
he's
as
like
the
weirdly
electric-
bald.
I'm thinking of a different setup that would probably fit better.
Possibly. Now, you can't say this guy doesn't have branding because he's got a lightning bolt, like, belt buckle. He's got multiple lightning bolts on his face. Psychic, by the way, though, not thunder.
I feel like the best way I could say they're like they're Cenobite common writers, I guess.
Yeah, kind of. Circuit's artwork, which I used for the thumbnail again for the field spell, is the transformation sequence. So there's a something here. That said, I do not think this follows our usual vibe of like tokusatsu style stuff because like there's definitely something weird and kind of sadomasochisty about their designs.
It's
Like
also
there's a
the
lot of
psychic thing.
electroshock shit and
You're
yeah,
also
the psychic stuff.
psychic and machine, so like there's a weird psychic aesthetic. 'Cause it's usually tied with like 5D, so it's speed and like cults.
Well, I don't know about that. There's been a lot of
Yeah,
different
I
psychic
think
archetypes.
You'll.
Reaching?
Yeah.
I don't know, because a lot of psychic cards are like about having bikes and like going fast and like banishing and shit.
Being a Nazi. Shouts out to Psychic Commander.
That was one of them.
I mean, I think there's only like. Yes, there's probably like half a dozen cards that involve psychics and wheels, but there's a lot of other stuff too. There's a lot of shocky
Yeah,
psychers,
but-
that stuff.
Yeah.
No,
Driver.
this guy specifically does look like he hangs out at a BDSM club. Like,
Yeah.
genuinely. That leather buckle jacket is just... Cool, but
And
that
he
was
has a
choice.
skin-tight white bodysuit on under it.
Yeah.
It's not a flattering look.
This is a choice that has been made.
This is a statement.
But so this is a normal monster, Psyframe Driver. So he is a light psychic, level 6, 2500 attack, 0 defense. So, hypothetically, you can, tribute summon this for one and actually have a decent body.
Sometimes you have to.
Sometimes you do just have to tribute summon Driver.
It's weirdly enough. It's just a weirdly kind of like. It shows the age of vanillas nowadays, where it's like a vanilla was never good, unless it's one case where it's required. Where
vanilla is never
like
good
it's
unless it
it's
has
a run
effects
tribute
around it.
2500.
Well, yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, I mean, that's not to say that there are 4-star vanillas who are centerpieces decks. They're usually 1900 or 2K though.
Yeah.
Like Mech Knight Avram and Clavis. And strictly speaking, the whole World Chalice line was built around interactions with the fact that they have vanillas. But again, that's their whole mechanic, is they are vanilla and then become their Link version with effects.
How could we forget the best normal monster deck, Phantasm Spiral?
Yeah, like Phantasm Spiral is another example.
Loth, you're joking. That might honestly be true.
I wasn't joking.
No.
It's a
Yeah,
great
no.
normal monster deck.
Yeah, Phantasm Spiral revolves around normals as well. And there's been a couple of others over the years, but yeah. So, Psyframe Driver is your
Giant
main...
Ballpark, of course.
Yeah, your Psyframe boy. His flavor text reads, a psychic soldier that rides into battle against the security forces on Currents of Lightning. So, yes, they did.
Oh, right.
They didn't know they were going to abbreviate it S-Force yet, but that was there. It even involves capital letters, so you know it's a proper noun.
The art is showing him mid-transformation sequence.
Probably, yes. Using an autonomic amplifier called Psyframe. So Driver
here's the
is a psychic
thing.
soldier who drives Psyframes.
I can't think if his theme song is either Electric Eye, but no, it's definitely Electric Eye by Judas Priest. It looks like he's a member of Judas Priest.
Fair enough. But yeah, other than that, I don't think there
Right
is a
over
lot
the head.
to say about him. Now, the Psyframes did get one more main deck monster. Not Psyframe Gears, but Psyframes.
I actually like her.
Yes, and yeah, it is pretty clearly a her. But let's bring it up. This is Psyframe Multi-Threader. By the way, Multi-Threader also somehow connected to... We don't have any details in the lore, but somehow connected to the S-Force as well, because if you look at the S-Force Bridgehead card art blown up a lot, she is there, or somebody resembling her, talking to the guy who becomes Psyframe Driver.
Oh, okay, so she's the second.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Just become Lambda.
Oh god. This looks like Brainiac 5.
It does actually.
Yeah,
Legit.
this does not give me as many anime vibes as, like, this reminds me of, like, Western
No,
cartoons
this
and
is a
comics.
comic.
Really?
This is a comic.
I
book,
was
yeah.
I was about to say the only anime thing I could think of with this card is the lightning coming out of the head makes it seem like just she'd have giant twin tails.
I mean,
To-
that does
to put it
look
in
kind of Twin
perspective-
Tails, but, like, Western comics and cartoons have absolutely done that effect, too.
Put it into perspective, Brainiac 5 is when Brainiac became a femboy in the future.
Yep,
That's the best way to put it.
that happened.
Iterated, yeah.
But yeah, so this is
She's got springs
Multi-Threader.
on her legs.
Yeah, she's wearing...
Coils,
I mean, technically, they're on her boots, because she is wearing thigh-highs. And I guess a skirt with leggings? I can't really tell what this garment is supposed to be. It could just be
It
hot
reminds
pants. I don't
me
know.
of like old. What was it? Why can't I remember the era? Like the pre-Heisei era. That was like.
What, like
Showa?
bubble era stuff?
Yeah, it reminds me of Showa era female characters
Everything
like
to you is
Goku.
just a Kamen
where-
Rider reference, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
in this case, it reminds me of like that kind of design of like where it's compared to like Driver's design, where it's like very like thin, effeminate, slender.
And only Dallas and I would get that, and maybe some chat members, not Omega.
Yeah, no, honestly, this just looks like a comic book character more than anything to me.
Yeah, and I think it's got some elements of that, like with the jacket with the studs. There's definitely some style instances, like you can tell it's supposed to be feminine. I will say, I don't think
Is
she
it?
can sit the fuck down.
The way... Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Actually getting another look, I think her body pose is very uncomfortable looking.
I mean, I would
Yeah,
say with the...
Honestly, that's another reason it reminds me of Western comics. This is a traditional comic book front page pose of like.
Yo, yeah, that's
why
true.
is
Because,
your
like,
spine a pretzel?
yeah, and the reason why I say I think it's meant to be a she is because, like, there is actually some, like, you know, deep in curve for waist to hip, and slight
fair.
heels.
It's
And also
like,
the
I'm
the
getting-
head looks like the Twin Tail vibes.
No, it's definitely more feminine than anything.
It
but
actually
it's
like
just like
curves around her hips.
I mean, strictly speaking,
So
she
robot.
also does kind of look like a robot with lightning hair, so I don't know. Whatever it is, Multithreader can't sit down because there is this giant
Send
lightning
box.
bolt shape clipped right over that ass cheek. You cannot sit down. It will be so painful.
I think they could just float.
Possibly, but still, you can't choose to sit down. It's not allowed. But yeah, so it's certainly an interesting aesthetic. You know, it gives me the vibes of future clothes. Like everybody's trying to be in like, what's future fashion like? So this has vibes of that with, you know, fucking go-go boots and shit. You can see kind of the interesting background thing with like the multiple circuit boards, multi-threader. You know. And Multithreader is basically kind of like an opposite number to smack my microphone. Hold on. Stop that vibing. To Driver. Multithreader is another light psychic. They are level 6, but they are an effect monster. They have 0 attack, 2500 defense. This card's name becomes Cyframe Driver when it's in the hand or graveyard. So, not on the field, but in your hand or graveyard, it counts as Cyframe Driver. If a Cyframe cards you control will be destroyed by battle or card effects, you can discard this card instead. If a Cyframe tuner is special summoned to your side of the field while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon it but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect of Multithreader once per turn.
Well, considering you also do it being banished is not a detriment because there are specific cards that let you
Well, yeah, no.
synchro via the banish zone.
They are a psychic archetype. Psychics have slightly often interacted with the banish zone, and these definitely do as well. So there's some banishing and banish recycling effects going on. But
Looking
yeah,
at
no.
some
Good.
Looking at some cursory deck lists, she appears to be a whatchamacallit, non-entity, but
Yeah, I would
It's because
assume
it's
most
it's because you
decks.
play Cypher as an engine, not actually as a deck.
I would assume.
well, no, I'm looking at Cyframe decks.
Well, yeah, I would also ask you to double check when those are from, because this card did come out a little later.
2022.
Okay, yeah, so just modern lists.
Yeah.
I don't really know why you wouldn't run Multithreader as just an option. Maybe it's because you've got so many of the Cyframe gears to run that you don't really need
Yeah.
copy. Because obviously what Multithreader is supposed to be is copies of Driver, 4 through 6.
I feel like the issue is you don't need driver 4 through 6.
Yeah. And it does have a protection effect, but I don't think you really
I think
bother
it's
with
also
that
because- I think
you
it's
have
also
so many
because you
hand
can't-
traps.
I think it's also the fact you can't pull her from deck.
Well, yeah, it's the name only counts at because it can't count in deck, otherwise that would break deck building.
Yeah. It looks like she's sided, but not like
Yeah.
in the main.
It might be an option for certain builds, but I can see why this card exists, and also maybe why you don't run this card because it doesn't actually bring enough to the archetype to swap things up. But okay, we've spoken of the Cyframe gears. It's time to go down that list. I will do this in Greek alphabetical order.
Okay, so that
trust
would
you to
mean
know that.
Alpha is first.
Yes. And so it's
Yeah,
time to get a
these
look at
look
the real
fucking-
aesthetics here. So hey,
These-
remember what we said? Cyberpunk, Hellraiser.
This is just magical floating BDSM gear.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Honestly, it is. Yeah.
Which, to be fair, that is a Yu-Gi-Oh aesthetic. There is a long history of floating BDSM gear in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Also,
This
I
has a
will
lot more
say
lightning.
I say besides its hands having like the weird spike claws, I would say all of the points that have a reason. I think because it's psychic electricity conductor.
No,
but
there's one point that
I would say on the shoulders and on the hands, it's like okay, that's a bit much.
Okay, why is the bottom belt buckle so long? Like, what is
Well,
that
that's
third
the
buckle?
crotch loop, my guy.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that.
That girds
That
your
one
loins,
is-
my man.
It's
Yeah.
secure on
That
everywhere.
one is just awkward.
It's
It's
staying
going
on.
Oh, I
loop
don't-
around
listen.
and then clip to the chest piece.
Yeah, I know. It's there's a lot of there's a lot you could joke about Yu-Gi-Oh card art here. There's a lot of spikes, there's a lot of lightning, there's a lot of
Electric
belts.
Shock ring.
Wait,
I just noticed.
You know what this is giving me the vibes of? It's a green electric metal morph.
It is kind of.
I also noticed this is also the one I think Driver wears for Zeta. I think the
I believe so. We'll double check when we get to
Yeah,
Zeta.
it's Zeta.
We won't
No,
be
it's 100%
too long.
Zeta.
Okay, it is Zeta. Yeah.
I know
Um,
that because I use Zeta a lot because it's a cheap crafting master in Duel Links.
By the way, most of these cards I believe are in Duel Links. Funnily enough,
I don't think Gamma is.
that makes sense. Gamma would be the most annoying one, but there's other stuff.
I don't actually think most of the Cyframes are.
Interesting. So driver
Most
and
of the
multi-fitter
frame
are.
frames.
I mean, I
driver,
guess you do have
multi-fitter-
smaller deck lists, so you could make it work. That'd be funny. Anyway, there are some. But I mean, we can clown on the cyber bondage element as much, but like, there's still some stuff that's pretty
I
good.
will.
I like the again, the cyber part is this integration of like the code lines and stuff in certain areas. It's got some of these recurring like energy lines, but again, only in limited spots.
It reminds me of the
Man?
art of Psychic Field Zone.
Yeah. I feel like very much Cyframes are trying to stick to the aesthetics a lot of psychic monsters have.
It's
So that's
electricity
good.
energy,
Like, keep
yeah.
that brand knowledge, but like, yeah, it's yeah.
I mean, Zed is a reason, but like, it's like Jinjo's been a staple, and he's just a cyber
True, but
bondage
Jinzo is a
man.
machine because he is a cyborg. He's not actually supposed to be psychic. He's just a psychic.
I mean, if they retrained him, they'd probably make it like a line of them just psychics. But yeah,
But yeah, don't have a lot else to say about Alpha design-wise. So, if you don't know how Cyframes work by the fact that you have ever seen a Gamma played, I am now going to explain it to you because you will understand after we get this.
and then we probably don't need to say what trigger is next time.
Well, yeah, Cyber Bondage was the card name of Cyber Shield, but we had to change that because that was not okay for children. Because honestly, it shouldn't be Cyber Bondage; it should be Cyber Bondage Gear because Harpy Ladies
Or
are not
Cyber-
bottoms.
They're like
I don't know.
I would say at least the first two waves were
The
super
original,
safe.
no. The original Harpy Lady and Harpy Lady sisters are not bottoms.
For sure. I feel like the latest era. I don't know.
I mean, some of
Latest
them are a
era
little
is
more
weird.
softer, but that's just because I think, one, I think you can
People
only
like
draw
children.
angry dominatrix Harpy Lady so many times.
Also, Japan.
Well,
I
yeah.
have no. horse
Listen,
in
no,
this race.
don't you say that. Japan made Lady Dimitrescu, my guy. They understand
Japan
step
has
on
made
me
a lot
money.
of things.
True facts.
Japan
made
is
a
very
lot of
varied
things.
in their opinions about things. It doesn't mean.
Anyway,
Anyway.
so Alpha can't be. Alpha is a light psychic tuner, level 1, 500 attack, 0 defense. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned by a card effect and cannot be special summoned other ways. When your opponent normal or special summons a monster while you control no monsters except during the damage step, you can special summon both this card from your hand and one Cyframe driver from your hand deck or graveyard. So that's where multi-fitter comes in, by the way. If she's in the
Now we
graveyard
come
or hand, you can special summon her.
Now
And if
we
you
come
do-
into the part... Oh,
Add one Cyframe card from your deck to your hand except Alpha. During your end phase, banish the face-up monster special summon by this effect.
so now we
Sure,
come to
sure.
the part of this where I explain why this deck is awful.
I mean,
Like-
I think it's the thing we've talked about. So this card can't be normal summoned or set, period. How do you special summon it? You must wait until your
What?
opponent specials or normals.
Or
It's,
you have a
it's
field
not
spell.
that. It's not necessarily that. Well, Axe just technically hit it on the head. This archetype is awful because it's one of those archetypes where if you don't have your field spell out, you don't do anything at
Yeah.
all.
Except on your opponent's turn.
Well, yeah,
Well,
but then
no,
you don't.
even
Then
on
guess
your
what,
opponent's-
X? Your
You don't
opponent when
make
your
the first
opponent's turn
save, yeah.
ends, you don't do anything
Well,
either because your monsters are
Yeah,
banished.
that's the problem. Like, the field spell lets you synchro when you special summon. So, that's basically how the deck is meant to be played.
Yeah.
Should they have made the synchroing inherent, or would that have been too good?
I
I
mean,
mean,
Omega
Cyframes
is
are
limit
already-
1 for a
Here's the
reason,
thing.
but
Cyframes were already pretty good when they came out. Like, their eras
Yeah.
obviously passed by, but
If it wasn't worded correctly, like type locked with the synchro, it could be awful.
Yeah.
Maybe it was only for a Cyframe synchro.
and
guess.
to be
Yeah.
fair, I think that like Dallas said, they used to be good and can be reasonably good in
yeah,
like as
in
engines and packages and
2016,
shit. Like
2018, like, there were Cyframe decks that put up tournament performances.
and like the thing is like they're one of those decks where, like, on the one hand, yes, pure Psy-Frames could use some more support. You can't run a deck of just an extra deck of just pure Psy-Frames, for instance. I think there's a couple of psychic shit you could tuck in there to try and make it work, but a lot of those old psychic synchros aren't that great these days either.
The newer ones are like cool, but like it's still
yeah, but there's a lot of classic ones that aren't really usable anymore. Like, I think that's kind of what they were going for, right? They were like, it's 2016, let's try and make psychic synchro cool again. But the fact that at the very least Gamma is a like omnipresent side deck option. You don't always put 3 Gamma 1 driver in your side deck, but the fact that you can exists. So
Zeb brings up a good point in chat. They're just annoying hand traps.
well, yeah, for the most part. Like, I mean, I'll say this. I don't think this is an annoying hand trap because this just summons when your opponent normals or specials. And then its effect is draw a card. Like, Alpha, not really that annoying.
I kind
Doesn't
of
really
wish,
advance your game state that much.
I wish some of the Psy-Frames had a thing
Like-
where you could just use them also just as tuners.
I mean, the deck
Like,
is really
or
Or you
interesting
can
to
just use them as
play.
tuners.
The deck is really interesting to play because basically the deck is your opponent does something, you synchro, then
You
when
blast
you
something they
use
got.
your synchro's effect to tag it out, because all of them have a tag out effect, which opens your board back up.
Wait,
And then
does-
you do
does-
it again when your opponent does something else.
Does this mean that pure Psy-Frame deck mirror matches would be entirely awful?
Nothing happened.
Yeah, basically.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I don't even know how you would, because you can't normal.
Well,
I mean, I
no,
guess
it
you
be
would
the
play
first-
other
'cause
engine
one
cards.
One of them counters spell, like I think it's
You'd
Delta
also-
or something, counter spell cards.
You also play.
But would you
specific-
activate spell traps?
Your field spell. The deck doesn't work without the field spell, so.
I mean, yes, but why would you act? I guess you
Also,
preemptively
Lambda. I
activate
think
your
Lambda
field
makes it
spell.
work a bit, but yeah,
Well, yeah, but you need monsters on board to make Lambda, buddy.
true. Which is why you don't run.
Yeah.
You run like at least like some.
I mean, generally, my
I mean, I will
experience
say
is
at
that-
least these guys are technically psychic tuners, so they are e-telliable.
I mean, the most
That's
successful
card
builds
effect
of
and special
Psy-Frame decks in tournament play have been pure Psy-Frame decks.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't know if you are playing the Cypher Mirror, how you kickstart that. I guess you would just activate the field spell without knowing and then die.
Yeah, basically.
And then game 2 and game 3 is just so
Game 2
draw.
becomes
We
hell.
draw.
Game 2 becomes
Go to time?
hell.
Intentional draw.
Yeah,
Um,
basically.
But yeah,
It's
if we don't have anything else to say about
are
Alpha,
you going
I
to
can
pay
move on.
1,000 life, or am I going to pay 1,000 life? Okay, no. Okay, third game.
So let's move on then to Beta. Yeah. I don't even know how. Is this a mask or what?
Is this whatever you? I don't.
This is nipple clamps.
But the.
Actually, no. Is
It
it a leg?
looks like
it
nipple
looks
clamp.
like a leg plate, actually.
I mean, it's actually
it's
a
a
belt
cod
buckle
piece.
because you'll notice they're different.
Oh.
This
it's
is
a
a
giant
receiving
cod
part.
piece
This is an
then.
But I don't know what part of your body this goes on.
This is a cod piece, obviously. This is a giant.
I almost. But it also looks.
I was
I mean, I guess
joking
it
when
could
I
be
said
like
it
a
looked like
corset and
cock ring.
leggings then.
I could see it more as like a knee pad. Like you put it.
Yeah, you put the face goes on your crotch.
Yeah, I guess, and then you just have a weird spiky corset.
But
It's.
Okay.
I mean, it could be a knee brace, but also then why does it have a belt around the front? Also,
No, that-
goddamn,
that
look at those
face-
side
that
spikes.
face
You're gonna
is definite-
shank yourself in the knee.
Yeah.
The,
That
Beta
face-
is
well, no,
just
this is-
like, hold on, did Beta come out? No, Beta came out in High Speed Riders. So Beta was clearly like, okay, we need to use the Greek letter Beta, but we have no idea what the fuck the art is.
Here's the thing: Alpha and Beta both make up Zeta. This is the bottom half of Zeta because Zeta has a face on his crotch.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
okay.
we'll see maybe how that works geometrically when we get to Zeta, because like I'm still concerned about how
it
this
might
fits
be
together.
stretchy. It might be weirdly stretchy or some shit.
It's not stretchy though;
And
it's
he
metal.
also has those dumb fucking hip spikes.
Yeah, I guess they are hip spikes. But yeah, Beta is really weird. It looks like a fucking. This looks like when you flip open the manual for like a Nintendo or Super Nintendo game, and they show you the concept art of an enemy, and you're like, "What the fuck? That guy doesn't look like that at all." That's this thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
It does look like a Mega Man like enemy.
Yeah, something like that. So Beta is also level 1. It has 700 attack and 0 defense. Not that it matters. It can't be normal summoner. normal summoned or set, and then must be special summoned by card effect. So when your opponent's monster declares an attack while you control no monster, special summon this card from your hand and Cypher Driver, and destroy the attacking monster and end the battle phase during the end phase banish both. So Beta is your battle fader, which is very good because your deck is reliant on not...
Dying.
yeah. You need a clear board, and you don't want to die. So Beta is very important. It's your battle fader.
A nondescript flying shape.
Yes, Rada coined that for some number stuff. Nondescript flying object.
This is just a fucking cock.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And in mechanics terms, Beta is just a battle fader. I mean, that's good because, like we said, you don't do that. And I will say its effect is more proactive than Alpha's effect to just search a guy.
Yeah.
Beta actually means you pop your opponent's monster and end the battle phase outright. So you will probably not die this turn unless they can negate Beta.
Yeah. Beta's pretty, like, I mean, Alpha's not bad because it immediately gets you into, if you have the field spell out, it gets you into Zeta.
Yeah.
Which lets you pop on summon, so it's, like, the deck does work. There's a reason this deck was a tournament deck. It's just been power correct.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I see why. So it's time to talk about the one that's popular. But hey, did you know that one? That's limited in the OCG. So this is why there is not more Cyframe support.
No, Omega. It's not limited in the OCG.
Yes, it is.
I believe it's semi-limited.
It's limited. I'm looking right at it.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Really?
Limit 1.
I
Yeah.
thought it was semi.
No, I
thought it was semi.
unless the wiki is like out of date somehow, it says limited
Let
OCG,
me
unlimited
check.
TCG.
OCG.
But let me see.
Because they might not specify semi.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they specify semi-limit. I guess they could not, but usually we do. Anyway, you probably recognize this guy. I will say blown up.
Yeah.
I think there's some interesting extra details here. He's got kind of a weird half grin thing going on.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's limited. Okay.
Yeah.
He's got a yin yang thing going on with his face, kind of.
It looks like he got
Yeah.
hit in the face.
Well, no, it was made this way. It's a machine.
Yeah, this is just.
Somebody designed this thing to have a weird double face motif.
This is
really-
just a gimp mask.
With that
It really is just weird setup here.
Yeah.
It's just a gimp mask.
It's very fancy.
And the giant earmuffs on the side of your head and some more weird straps.
No, this is Omega. I believe.
Yeah, I believe parts of this go into Cyframe Lord Omega. Yes, by the way, we do make those jokes a lot.
Yep.
But yeah. So, you know Gamma. This one is the level 2 one. It's also a
He's
tuner.
The creme de la creme.
It's got 1k attack. That matters. It can't be normaled, obviously, through the normal stuff. And then it has a quick effect when your opponent activates a monster effect while you control the monster. Special summon this card from your hand and Cypher Driver from hand deck or graveyard. Then negate and destroy that monster during the end phase banish. So yes, Gamma is a very popular hand trap as a effect negation because it lets you negate and destroy and then summon out 2 guys. And by the way, you can do this like on your turn as well if your opponent is doing something while you're doing other shit. Not that it matters that much, but yeah. This is the usual side deck package: 3 Gamma, 1 Driver. You only need the 1 Garnet Driver. It doesn't matter if he's in your hand or deck if you draw it. Doesn't even matter if he's in your graveyard, TBH.
I honestly don't know why this is limited in the OCG, but I'm not going to question the OCG.
Yeah, I don't know. And maybe they just find it annoying. I mean, I wouldn't say that Gamma is the most annoying hand trap, but the fact that it does negate and destroy is annoying. Like, at least with Valor, you get to keep your monster. At least with Ash, you get to keep your monster. With Ghost Ogre, you lose your target that activated its effect, but the effect is not negated. But yeah, I'm going to guess that is probably why we are not seeing any, like, Cyframe support. Is probably because the OCG doesn't like it, and unfortunately,
Just made
for
S-Force instead.
Legacy support, I think the OCG usually has to pilot Legacy support. Occasionally, the TCG will do some of that stuff ahead, but, like, mostly they're making, like, either new archetypes or utterly bullshit broken cards that are generic, like Maxi and, like, Garula.
I feel like they could make another iteration to Lambda, but I have a weird reason for that.
I mean, I think they could do a lot with a lot of different decks. The question is, do they want
But
to,
they
and how
just-
would they pull
they
it
won't.
off? Like,
That's
I don't
the
know. I
problem,
think
is
you
they
could
won't.
probably do something with Psyframes to, like, make a card you could normal summon somehow that, like, removes itself.
Like the OCG just don't give a shit.
Like, I guess and like something that's normal summonable that pulls a frame from deck to.
Yeah, either lets you special, probably not from deck,
to lets
from
you
hand.
synchro from it.
Probably not from deck, but like summons from hand right now, so you can get started turn 1. I mean, there's like a bajillion more Greek letters they can use. They've only used like the most popular ones.
Yeah, they gave the first driver 2 forms and then the secondary 1 form. So
Yeah.
they can probably give her a second.
Well, they used the most popular ones and then one more. You have Misty, an alphabet letter. I believe it should have been in between beta and gamma.
No. Alpha, beta, gamma,
I
delta.
don't know how.
Yeah, that's that order.
Okay.
The
Okay.
Greek alphabet is not the English alphabet.
I
But no,
don't know
I
the
mean, like,
alphabet.
I'm looking at the list overall. Overall, all Psyframe gears and Psyframe lords have used all the coolest letters, except the Greek letter Psy, but that might be too redundant. Psyframe lord Psy, with just an I.
Or it'd be side 2 frame.
I mean, there's no kappa.
That's true. There's also no Sigma. Sigma's very popular, though I don't know. Capcom might get annoyed about that, because it would just be a weird bald guy with green lightning.
That's true.
it would probably.
Capcom
no,
might
it's
go,
a
"Hey,
It
woman
would,
now.
probably reference to one of the versions of Sigma.
There's a lot of versions of Sigma, so there's a lot there's a lot of trouble.
He
You can get into.
he keeps rebuilding himself.
I mean, that's how that works. But yeah, so not a lot to say about Gamma appearance-wise, other than he's just weird.
Yep.
I think it is a face mask and earmuffs, but then I don't know why the belt is there.
No, that's
go
the
I
around
leather.
think that attaches
That's-
to the
Omega,
back or
that's
around the
ball
neck.
gag.
That's how that works spatially.
Yeah, that can't go that direction.
No,
it's very funny, Dallas, but it doesn't work that way.
It connects to the back or around the neck.
Yeah, I guess with the way the
I-
straps are, you could strap it to your
Yes,
back,
no,
but still, it's.
because Yu-Gi-Oh cards are always physically.
Oh no! Yes,
dynamic.
actually, Axe is correct. This becomes the shock collar. You put it over your head, and then you lower the strap down the back of your head and neck, and then you clip it around the front, and you say, "Choke me,
Ah,
daddy."
It's a collar.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's also so it doesn't fall off if you get hit in the face.
Listen, I'm looking at Psyframe designs. That's not the reason why you wear a collar.
No. No.
I mean,
I'm
I don't think
surprised it
they're
doesn't
like
have
magnetically
spikes on the
connected.
interior.
I don't think so. I think there's just energy.
I don't think that matters.
Actually, you have been overruled.
All right, you guys have to make it weirder than it actually is.
No, Axe, I think you don't want it to be weird, and you're wrong.
Made it weird.
Like,
Konami
I
made
get
this
that
one.
you don't want to confront that you enjoyed this archetype that is actually a weird fetish thing. But it's a weird fetish thing, Axe.
There's a lot of weird fetish archetypes. Don't be
That's
too sad.
also true.
I know,
Oh my god.
I know.
What was the fucking...
I think you guys are making it
What was
weirder
that
than it
random
actually is.
monster? I mean, I'll say this. I'm about to pull up Delta's art. Delta's actually not that bad.
No, Delta's normal.
What was that weird... It was Mist Valley, right? There was that one chick in bondage gear for no
Yeah,
reason.
Oracle.
Yeah, the like
Oracle.
discount harpy lady. Anyway, here's Delta. Like, Delta still has some normal Yu-Gi-Oh bullshit. It's got weird spiky ball joints and extra claws, but, like, compared to some of our
compared to the
other
rest of
designs,
them-
this is very normal. This is
Yeah.
just a random level 3 fiend that does something mildly annoying.
Yeah, basically.
I will say the Digamma. I feel like Baby got a bit too much into the weird psychokinetic fiend mask thing as his trademark symbol.
I mean, I don't know if we can say that Security Force are good necessarily out the gate, but at the very least, looking at their members and the cards that do stuff, they are not villains. Whatever happens to Psyframe Driver, this is not a good process. Somebody said these guys have bad guy mecha energy. Yeah, no, like the
Yeah.
isn't there literally a Gundam called Psycho Gundam?
No, there's things called Psy frames, which basically increase
No,
your.
there is Psycho Gundam, but
There's
it's,
Psycho Gundam, but
that's complicated. Omega.
Okay,
It's
all right,
a-
fair enough. I won't
it's
get that
the typical
complicated.
giant
Not a
Joker man.
villain.
I'm
Gundam.
very casual about Gundam. I just know that if you complain about gay people in your Gundam, you're wrong.
Yes.
No, it's just Gundam's always weird about it in previous series.
No, it's not.
Psycho
First of all,
Gundam-
Axe, no, I'm not aiming at you, but also, no, there are people who are like, whoa, why is my Gundam woke now? You're wrong.
Yeah, also,
I don't know
yeah,
shit
no,
about
that-
Gundam, and I can tell you
God.
that I know that, like,
Okay,
Gundam
can
has
I
been
go on a little
pretty
bit of a
gay.
tangent?
Go for it. I don't think
Well,
we had
it's
anything
not
to say
even
about
just
Delta.
that. It's like calling Gundam woke is like you realize Gundam is basically anti-war propaganda.
It's been anti-war
like, the
from the
entire
start.
Series.
Yeah, no,
It's
like,
been about putting
Gundam
us in
is, again, I have a very narrow understanding of Gundam, but, like, arguably Gundam has always been quote-unquote woke in terms of philosophy. It is about, like,
It's a
hey,
philosophical
look at
show,
how
it's always been
look
that.
at how war sucks and how economic disparity between groups
So,
is stupid.
The only non-philosophical Gundams are legitimately, I
Are the
think,
ones that his wife
are the
forced
ones
him
that are
to
about Gunpla.
make. Or no, it's the ones that his wife forced him to make, i.e., Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny.
No.
Yeah, and then so
Wow,
Build
you
Fighters,
caused-
but that's
Oh,
more
sorry,
about.
You caused a lot of deep pain there.
There's one about Build
Sorry.
Fighter. There's Build Fighter, which is about Gunpla, but that's more about toy
Gundam
making and
Seed
stuff.
Destiny is possibly one of the worst TV shows I've ever seen.
And that's because the writer was having panic attacks against the
Can
actors.
we just stop?
But let's not go into that.
There's a
Okay,
lot of
what-
Gundam
what-
we
what
don't need
I
to get
was-
into, but, like,
What I was gonna say is just like, oh, people just need to like, if you're gonna complain about something being, because I saw a bunch of people complaining, it's like, oh, why is Superman so woke now? It's like, what, the guy who was literally based on beating up union bosses in his first couple of runs, are corrupt union bosses and like breaking,
Yeah, Corrupt Industrials, yeah.
killing strike breakers. Like that's literally just. If you're gonna make that argument, read the source material, please. You're gonna make yourself look stupid.
yeah, I don't think people really understand the full legacy. They just see buzzwords. But yeah, Delta pretty plain here. I mean, I like the higher emphasis on gold is like at least unique, but yeah. By the way, I
It's
do think as we're
definitely
climbing in the alphabet, we're climbing in power levels.
It's kind of the silliest looking one.
Yeah, like clearly this is like a yoke with gloves or wristbands, but it's very derpy.
It also has a weird thing that you wrap around probably your shoulders or some shit.
Well, yeah, it's yoke.
Like it's
A yoke is more than an
it's
egg
the one
axe.
that I'm like, because knowing that these are all supposed to be gear.
Yeah.
Like this is the one I'm like, where the fuck are they wearing this?
Oh yeah. One thing I really wanted to get earlier was, it is a Gundam thing of psycho frames are things that increase your psychokinetic abilities.
Okay, that
Fair enough.
we've moved
that
on,
was-
Dax.
Sorry.
I mean, that's fair to mention at least because people are talking about these having a mecha aesthetic. These are called
fair.
psi frames. So, and that is the straight up the Japanese is just psi frame. So
Yeah.
interesting enough, technically the Japanese has a space in psi frame gear. It's psi frame gear as a separate word. They do not do that in the English. It's kind of funny, but yeah, there's definitely like some interesting recurring themes of like how to use technology to get fucking your brain ripped, which is definitely what Psi-Frame gear is going for. So Delta, it's very simple. Delta is a spell card effect, negate and destroy. It's like Gamma but for spell cards. And it's also level 2 and is 12 hundo.
Yeah.
There's not a lot else to
Generally-
say there.
Yeah. Generally, Delta is the most played one outside of Gamma in terms of the deck.
Yeah, because spell cards are also important. And then let me just check.
Well, they're just
yeah,
fairly
okay.
common.
And that means that our next one is probably one of the least played because it's the third color of card.
It's
Also,
Omega, it's
holy
very weird.
Jesus Christ.
I don't remember
yeah.
them.
Okay,
Epsilon
this
a
is
card
Epsilon in case you
choice.
couldn't guess. So you want to be a robot giraffe.
Wait. Oh, wait. The characters of the bike. That's what it is.
But in this form, it's got hooves.
Yeah, because they all have to be designed to move on their own. And he's like fucking running. I think he's running after the Cypher driver.
Probably because he's
This
on the
is just-
accelerator line. Yeah, this is just... I
Oh,
think
what is
it
this art?
makes sense in the terms of the archetype, but also,
Doesn't
damn,
it?
is this weird.
I kind of
doesn't
want to
make
see. I want to see the transformations even animated because it'd be fucking trippy.
Yeah, but no, this is like a weird robot giraffe, and I want to know why.
I would
Why
want
have
to
you
see
done
Gazelle
this?
because the back part of it, just the back of its head, not the top of its head.
I mean, it with that long, like, sleek shape that comes out, it makes me think of, like, a long neck.
Boy got neck.
Yes, big neck.
I've also noticed that like the leg bit is like one thing that I think like bisect.
Yeah, the legs are also weirdly bisected. I don't know why though, because they is he a unileg? I don't know. There's a lot of
This is
weird
definitely the
I
things.
think it
worst art.
reconnects to make the base of the bike.
This is definitely the worst art.
It's
It's
yeah.
also the most ambitious art, but it's still the worst.
I like it
It's the
the
most
most, but
confusing.
I like it for different. I guess I think it's dumb or it's weird.
I think you
That
don't
is
like it
very
because it's good. You like it because you realize something about it.
Maybe.
But yeah,
Ah.
Epsilon, there's not much to write home about. It's another level 2. It's got 1500 attack. It is trap cards.
So you said this wasn't played, which is technically correct, but also technically not correct.
I mean, I was just
Trap
making a joke because it's the trap card one.
Yeah, but this is like in nearly every Cyframe side deck, but never in the main deck.
Yeah, that seems right. Because, like, the reason why you wouldn't main deck him is just because you don't know if you're going to be able to activate it, right?
Yeah.
But if you
You're
know
not-
that your
you're
opponent
playing-
is playing trap cards that
If
matter,
playing
you're
against-
like, oh,
If you're playing against Labyrinth, this thing you love this thing.
Well, no, there's a lot of like, despite the meme of like trap cards are dead, there are a lot of traps that are.
I mean,
frequently
how many
running.
people were bitching about wanting Revolt to be hit? You know, Revolt was
Yeah.
a single central trap card to that deck. Flu plays a decent trap card in Dreaming Town. Like, archetypes usually have one or two good in-archetype trap cards that matter. It's just
just
whether or
some
not they're playing
archetypes,
them and
yeah.
if you know, right?
that's
I
the
believe
big
Tyr
problem,
has at
like-
least one trap card that's good. But conversely, I think Sprite is all quick play spell cards, for instance. So
It's 100% spells. So,
Yeah, so
but
you don't-
it's one of those cards.
Yeah.
It's like traps aren't as dead as people say they are.
Yeah.
But it is the type that you're not guaranteed to have in the deck.
yeah. Whereas, like, almost every deck, unless you run into somebody playing super
Runic.
heavy Sams, you
Oh,
can
Runic.
be like, no, Runic still works because you still summon from the extra deck to the EMZ, and those guys have
That's
effects
true.
you might want to negate.
At level 2.
But like, yeah, no, like, unless your opponent, like I said, is running like super heavy Sams and they're just oops all monsters, you know, running a Sekka's Light deck. Your opponent will probably be activating spell cards, and they will probably be activating monster cards. Though, again, as Dallas did bring up, technically, you would probably want to do something different if you ended up in a Runic match if you were playing Psyframes, because there's like a lot to work with there.
You would just put all of your deltas in. All of them.
Yeah. But yeah, so now it's time to go to our Frame Lords.
I think the actually cool looking ones, but they might look weird when blown up.
No, I think they look okay blown up. I don't know if I'd call
I
them
have some problems
cool,
with one of, yeah, I wouldn't say cool is not the right word.
but at the very least, it
This-
makes more sense.
One last thing I want to say about this guy on screen.
Yeah, go
The
for
way
it.
he runs feels like his legs would just fucking rotate 360. Just
They
to move
probably
forward.
Yeah,
They
I don't know.
probably
That is
would.
another thing I will say. I don't know where his legs are attached.
Yeah.
There's some weird
God,
stuff
this
about
card is
Epsilon.
Awful.
But yeah, so we're going all the way to Zeta. This is Cyframe Lord Zeta.
Yeah.
And I guess
Oh,
technically,
it flips
I have
over.
to-
That's what it is.
I have to
Okay.
double check if
Yeah.
Lambda
Oh.
would technically be before Zeta, but I don't think it matters that much.
There's the belt
Lambdas are way
Omega
later.
talked about.
Yeah, there's lots of belts, there's lots of
Yeah.
loops. I think it became shoulder or back guards, which is really weird. Because he's got the leg guards we saw,
Yeah,
which
No,
would- technically that was the
became
top
thigh
part.
guards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
But I still don't know what the lower down is. I think those ended up on his chest and back, maybe.
No, beta is the lower down.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But beta has two halves. I still don't know because he's crossing his arm where the other half went.
I think they clasped around his leg.
No, those are still open ended. They just got belt hooks.
Oh, you're right.
So I don't know.
Maybe they're on his ass cheeks.
Yeah, he needs
Or I guess
hit
the
ass
side-
clapper
yeah.
protection.
Yeah,
And
ass
listen,
clapper
there's still
9000.
some weird bits. I guess that does prove though that Cyframe Alpha that's not even his hand locks those weird claw things. Those are his elbow guards.
Yeah, like they
Yeah.
pop
That's
into his
weird.
elbows because he already has
No,
hands covered.
they do have. He does have the thing I hate in villain designs. He has the bad case of face crotch.
An upside down face crotch.
It's still face crotch.
Yeah. No, but like I said, for some reason it's
actually, I think it's over where his belly button would be, actually. Because, like, his
Yeah,
crotch is a bit lower.
no. His belt
That's
is
not
here.
how proportion works.
His
Yeah,
belt
the
is
belt
here.
is right there.
That's his belt line.
That's his crotch.
Yeah.
That's 100% his crotch.
If you are below the belt line, that is categorically
I'm
groin.
more imaging like it's on his waistline, but maybe I'm just imaging it wrong because I'm moving my
No.
body.
No,
his
like
belt is
Axe, do you
above.
need me to draw straight lines? I'll
Fine.
fucking
The
muck.
belt is above.
The belt is here,
Yeah,
belt
but there are
buckle
multiple belts. It
here.
might be wrapped around his mid frame.
No.
and then
That's the
his
belt.
mask
That's
is
the
like tip to tip. Like the top of his mask clinks against the bottom of his belt buckle, so the
Yeah,
face
it's
is
like
over his
the
groin.
mask is literally directly on his crotch.
Yeah. It's weird. He also has an unfortunate thing. This man cannot turn his head. You'll notice his giant neck guard collar has little cutouts for his earmuffs of doom. So he can't rotate his head at all.
He also can't enter a building because he will just pinion to the
I
side.
mean, I think he
can't
will
fit
just
through-
break through the wall anyway.
He has to walk through doors sideways.
I mean, the bit is, I don't think he's going in buildings. I think
I'm
he's
gonna
just
be
going.
honest.
No, it's true. This man going fast makes him feel alive. So you are correct. I don't think he uses doors anymore.
He just goes through
Oh my
walls.
But
Is
it's
this
like
a-
what we talked about with multi-threader, right? Like I don't think multi-threader ever has to sit down. Multi-threader can't sit down though because there's a lightning bolt metal plate up their butt basically. Then
Oh my god, is this a fair joke? This looks like if one of the judges from Final Fantasy Tactics got a BDSM fetish.
yeah, no, this is. I think
You're not
Loth
wrong.
and Axe can even weigh in on that. No, this is definitely like. This is more
Well,
sci-fi than Final Fantasy.
I would say if it's like,
I mean,
was like
Axe has
Judge
seen the
or-
armor that's in 14 that's inspired by
Yeah,
judges
I
for
would
sure.
say like Garlean or like, because it reminds me like, if it was like, I guess like super future like Garlean armor kind of.
Well,
yeah,
that-
that's what I was
that's
gonna
the
say.
thing,
It's
man.
like
It's
very
cheap versions of that
sci-fi.
shit.
I mean, Tactics is a little more sci-fi than I would say the Garlean armor is.
Yeah, some of this.
Or
Some
more
of these things are
12 than
different.
Tactics, actually.
Even so, this has a lot more like techie type stuff, like leather
That's
belts, weird. He's got fucking resistor springs in his pad here. Like, yeah, but like
But
it's definitely in that
still just gives
ballpark.
me
Like
that-
he's got a big hat with no mouthpiece and like giant spikes and
no-
huge collars.
And as you pointed out, no neck. That's
Yes.
what really reminded me. It's like, it's like
Honestly,
Instead of your
they-
neck, we
they-
have just
they
added
really-
more armor plating.
This is the one thing I've always had issues with, like, I guess some comic book designs or even like just some like anime designs. Again, it feels like it's designed based off to be a figure or an art piece and not actually have any movement. It's not head
yeah.
can't turn. It's like what? Okay.
I mean, I could
It's
see
just-
that work. I also think a lot of people are making comic book comparisons in the chat. Like, yeah, no, this is like an, we're a couple steps away and a different color palette from like a really edgy redesign to Doctor Doom or something here.
Or no, this is a 2099 character.
There's a lot of shit that this could be.
Yeah, no. Oh God, Zed, you're right. This is just 90s Marvel design. This is just a villain the fucking X Factor would fight. Oh my God.
Wait, is it X Factor like a parody comic?
No, it's not. It just reads like it is. Or
Oh, I thought it
what's
was
the
being
Liefeld
legitimate because it
comic?
literally has because like dude was slap fighting with fucking Tony Stark. It's like that's a fucking thing.
Okay, I might be thinking of a different team. What's Cable's team called again?
That
X-Force?
was X-Force.
X-Force, right.
Yeah, that's
sorry.
the edgy one.
Now, which
There's
to
a
be
lot
fair,
there's a lot of teams with X.
yeah, but to say to be fair, that's another point of like X Factor being a parody series is probably because there were a lot of fucking X comics.
Well, yeah, an X-Force. This looks like an X-Force villain.
I could totally see that.
It
X-
just
X
looks
Factor
like
was
a
about-
Lord Strife.
Because X Factor's whole thing was that they were a reality TV show team.
But even
Oh,
so,
right,
like
they're
this
the ones
is just
who caused the nuclear explosion that killed all the kids. And then their leader did get into BDSM gear. Holy shit.
that also
But
caused
and
civil
this
war.
question was because a superpower is literally just to explode like a bomb.
Yeah, when he feels pain. So he made a magical BDSM suit. Comics are weird, guys.
No, I'm talking about the villain that caused the explosion, not the speedball guy.
No, but Speedball became a literal BDSM character.
Yeah, I know.
know who
He
Penitent
yeah, he
is?
had to go to therapy for a bit after that. Anyway,
That's
Yeah,
fucking
so
stupid.
Zeta, There's a lot to say about Zeta, but we can work through the lines. Frame Lord Zeta is a light synchro. This is our first extra deck monster. It is a level 7 monster. It has 2,500 attack and then 1,800 defense, which I'm going to assume is just adding up all the bits that make him to that defense stat. Now, the funny thing is, obviously, these cards came out in a deck build pack in 2015 for the TCG. High Speed Riders is basically a deck build pack. It's got 3 archetypes in it. But this is generic, so it's one tuner, one or more non-tuner monsters. Obviously, the easiest way to make him is with a driver and then one of the ones, the 1-star boys, but you can technically make it in any deck that it fits. Once per turn, quick effect, target a special summon monster your opponent controls in face-up attack position, banish both this monster and that monster from the field, return them in your next standby phase. If this card is in your graveyard, target one other Cyframe card in your graveyard, return this card to the extra deck. If you do, add this card to your hand. Add that target to your hand, sorry. So yeah, Zeta has a quick effect to get rid of a special summoned monster in attack position. And also has a, if it actually goes to the graveyard, it can recycle. So this can be used to block or eat up troublesome monsters, materials, etc. Recycles itself. Fairly decent for a lot of those plays. Though again, it does that thing where it, limits your amount of board presence. Obviously, that's good because that gets you more activations, but still.
Yeah. Also,
I guess I'm trying to wonder how would you win in Cyframe? Is Cyframe just you negate all your opponent's plays and they have to fucking give up?
Well, no. When you negate them, you summon Driver, which because of the field spell, you can instantly sync off into this guy. And
Okay.
then activate his effect to banish him, and then that frees you up to negate another thing and summon another level.
And then you hopefully
and
draw
summon
second heal
usually
zone.
Omega, and then you banish him until the start of your next Jamboy phase, and then you do it again with. It's to basically show it's to negate, and then on the crackback you'll have like 4 or 5 big dudes.
Except you won't, because any reasonable opponent just goes, oh, I see what you're doing, and I just don't. We just don't do this dance.
I mean, if they do one thing, you can summon.
I mean, you summon
more
one
than
guy,
one
but then you
guy.
can't do any more. If your opponent's just like, okay, oh,
That's
you've got
true,
my
but
guy.
If your opponent doesn't do anything else, you just beat them to death slowly.
I mean, it depends what monster they special summoned. Because Zeta's only 25.
That's true.
And then also, I mean, it's like, it is the classic mine problem. Like, I don't think that you should be forced to side deck against mine, but also, it is pretty easy to side deck against mine, unless your opponent's being an asshole. Like that runic deck, running cursed seal of the forbidden spell.
God, I love that deck. Was amazing, and you cannot convince me otherwise. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no. It's like I said, it's a work of art for how terrifyingly fucked up it is. Okay. Looking at
On the
Omega
topic of that,
reveals some
actually,
stuff.
Yeah.
Dallas, I want to tell you this because you might find I'm stupid for this. I like this design for what it is. It's fucking stupid, but I like it because it's a fucking dude too obsessed with self-punishment. So it's like, of course he
Look,
looks like this.
Penance is a very edgy storyline done fairly. Oh my god, I forgot about this. Fairly well.
Yeah, so somebody said the phrase
Yeah.
surfboard earlier. I did not say that. That is incorrect. Cyframe Lord Omega is riding a Razor Scooter. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just on a scooter.
It's a psychic
you can-
scooter, which is kind of cool. Now
you
this
can combine
does
the other ones
actually
with it,
reveal
too.
some other stuff. So Gamma is handlebars.
Control. It's the control piece. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
handlebars, and I guess
Oh,
the
so the
strap
belt
is so
goes
you
around
don't
it.
fall off. Yeah,
Yeah. So it stays connected. Yeah.
which makes more sense. Delta
like,
is
It
still
looks
dumb.
Goofy.
Oh, so Omega is just Zeta super form. Okay.
Yes, Zeta, and then I guess Delta, Gamma, and Epsilon become his extra mobility gear. But yeah, no. I mean, like I said, Delta's still dumb, but at least I understand what they're going for now.
He looks like a Mega Man boss now.
This is definitely
You're
the
not
third,
wrong.
the second guy in a 3-part boss fight. Yeah.
Or at least Mega Man X specifically.
True. That's probably better to say. Yeah. This guy, you fight him in Mega Man X 4.5. He is the second in the 3 boss fights at the end before you fight Sigma's giant floating head again.
You fight Zeta, and then Omega will be the second phase where he runs away from you on his scooter, and you gotta chase after him.
Yeah, very true. Otherwise, art-wise, there's not a lot to say. It's still a little goofy. I mean, sure, shout out to this guy for being confident enough to do crimes on a psychic electromagnetic scooter.
It might also just be weird rebellious terrorism, honestly. But,
Yeah, we don't know a lot. That's another thing, we don't know a lot.
he's also got claw hands now.
Well, yeah, he's got Klaus. Makes sense, he's got more tech points now.
I've always read it as Security Force were the villains, but that's just me.
It might be both or just fucked up.
I
in
mean,
different ways.
No, I don't think we can say S-Force are the villains. They have, like, a cute girl mascot and a robot dog and, like, a cool guy with a...
yeah, but they're also the man. So...
I mean,
I don't know,
Dallas, they're the man, but they're the
basically,
man who
like-
prosecutes IP Masquerena. Are you saying IP Masquerena is a good girl?
I want to say Ivory is probably
mean,
like she's probably just an edge
what
runner.
does she do again?
She's just a cyber. She's probably just a freelancer.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure she has a cat theme. I'm pretty sure she's a cyberpunk cat burglar. Gonna be honest with you.
I mean,
She's a hacker.
look, if it's in the cyberpunk setting, then yes, the cat burglar is the good guy.
I mean, I think technically it's more of a sci-fi thing because they have, like, gravity controls and
Still,
weird bullshit. Anyway.
Generally, if it's in the dystopian future, which it usually is.
I mean, that's the thing, Dallas. We don't know that the future is dystopian. I mean, I will say, I do believe it's said that Security Force also fights the Time Thieves.
Look,
They are Time Thieves, so we don't know. I mean, I'll say this. I think everybody that S-Force fights, with the possible exception of Psy-Frames, but that'll definitely do it for somebody. The archetypes they fight are way sexier than they are.
look,
But
look,
I don't know. Like, again, I don't want to look at the Psy-Frame aesthetic and be like, yeah, this guy's a good guy. Like, okay, sure, he's a little punk rock, but I think he's a little bit too much Hellraiser versus being punk rock.
that's fair, but also, I gotta be real. You can't tell me that the Phantom Thieves are meant to be the villains. Like, you just can't.
I mean, with Time Thief's design, I feel like that relationship
Everything
has
about
to be
them
like
says puckish
okay,
road.
the reason. Yeah, but the reason why I have to say this, the reason why I would assume what is going on with why S-Force would be after Time Thief, it's got to be because like time travel is like illegal for some deeper reason. The Time Thieves don't do anything bad with it.
It's a weird time loop because supposedly if S4 is the what caused the time loop to exist or something.
No, we don't know that. I don't think we know
We don't
anything
know
about that.
It's not described about it.
Like
Look, all I'm gonna say is I'm on team Cyframe.
yeah, sure.
I also Zed made me writing a very interesting joke of even if IP was evil, because she's hot, she's morally gray.
Well, also, you got to think about it. I'm gonna be honest. Any law enforcement agency that calls themselves S-Force has already gotten red flags for me.
I think that's what people shorten
That
it to.
sounds fascist.
I think
It
Well,
just
it's
does.
Security Force.
I think it's just
but
short, so it's
Dallas,
pink
I think
face.
that's just you looking for your U lens, because S-Force is absolutely, that's a subtitle to like an anime or a Power Rangers season. Like, that's what I think.
S-Force.
Yeah, no, like, you say S-Force, I hear,
Storm Force, or like
I mean, we know it's Security Force, but yeah.
I mean, we had Time Force. That was a legit Power
Yeah.
Rangers.
There was also SPD was a different one. But
Also,
yeah.
some of the S-Force members definitely look like villains.
We'll get there when we get to there
Some of
eventually.
them are morally
We'll probably have to
questionable.
do that as a double up on, like, someday we'll do, like, a Time Thief S-Force double
Like,
up.
Digamma definitely.
Digamma
is
is also is driver.
Yeah, I'm about to say, isn't Digamma Driver?
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, one of them is literally Psyframe Driver. He just hasn't put his Psyframe on yet. So, again, we don't really know what it is. Like, it may be that maybe the S-Forces were corrupt, and then, like, when the innocent young recruit Chiyomaru and her robot dog caught their big boss, and he's like,
Chiyomaru
ah!
came with actually, the robot dog came with the cyber samurai.
Yeah, but it's... Never mind. Axe is not going to allow me to make cool references, even though he will only make bad, dumb references that don't make any sense.
I could say the same about you, but hey, you're the one running the show.
No, yeah,
Fight.
most
No,
Fight.
because you just shut me the fuck down, and then when we shut you the fuck down, you just ignore us and say it anyway, and then we're like, that was bad. We knew that was bad, Axe, but you kept going.
All right, keep saying it. Keep saying it then.
You know,
Anyway,
I'm
what
not
I was gonna
lie,
say
most
was
of
like
the
we
S-Forces-
catch Digamma doing a funny thing, which again, Digamma, that's another hint. I believe that is a historical Greek letter that is no longer used as the digamma. There's a couple
But
like
also, I'm not gonna lie. Every S-Force card other than fucking Chiyomaru and what's her fucking name? The
Gravatina?
small
Palatina.
girl?
Is it Palatina?
Yeah. Every other one, no, Palatina is definitely not. No, Palatina is the older woman and is a villain. Like they all look kind of evil. I'm not gonna lie.
They're all part of like a freelance security company kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like fucking S-Force. What the fuck was this guy? Lapiswell. Like this is just Doctor Doom.
Oh right, the newest guy. I did
Moth
not see
guy.
much of. Yeah, the newest one.
I mean, hey, once again, Konami, if you're looking for new ideas for Master Duel story modes, the Vendread one that came out was very good. That was good. I mean, you could have put another like hybrid in there, rather than just making me play, Vendread Zombie Synchro versus whatever the fuck we fought. Zombie World
also
Vendread without
literally a
synchro.
Also, did we call the story right, or would they change?
I mean, kinda. There's a little bit different. It's very much
Resident Evil Spawn.
the setting is very Resident Evil. The
story
plot
is
really
Spawn.
isn't. The plot's just Spawn. I think the only thing that mattered that they actually revealed in the story settlement is, if you haven't played it yet, is Vendread Slayer was just a normal Vendread. He was just a random zombie, but then he found that his lover had been killed in her locket, and he like catalyzed into becoming a superhero of vengeance.
Revenge gave him a sentience.
Yes. And then he just fights them all, and the Vendreads is like an evolutionary pressure thing, get more and more big and complex until Battle Lord, and then he wins. And then he dies, but then he doesn't die because the people believed in him as a hero. He comes
Also,
back.
what does Scar come into this?
So this is literally just okay.
Yeah, basically. No, seriously, go play it. It's actually a good story mode. My literal only complaint was because there's no like coin flip or whatever on going first or second. It just seems to randomly assign you. It made me go first in the challenge mode like 5 times in a row. I was not playing a version of Vendread that goes first, so.
Gotcha.
Also,
that was right. Lapisol is just a Toku villain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
they-
It may be that they're trying to go for like a moral
And he's a
ambiguity
demon.
thing. Like, yeah, but Laplace's demon is like not. It's not really
Well,
how
no,
it works.
he's a fiend, is what I mean.
Oh, okay. Well, S4s are all different types, so I don't think we really gain a lot from that. But anyway, we should talk about Cyframe Lord Omega. He's been chilling on his Razor scooter for too long. This guy is limited in both versions. He is a level 8 Psychic Synchro. He is still generic. This is probably why he's limited, because he is generic. 2822, so he's a pretty decent body for a level 8 Synchro. Once per turn during the main phase, banish this card face up from the field and one random card from your opponent's hand face up until your next standby phase. And then once per turn during your opponent's standby phase, target a banished card, return it to your graveyard, so he's your recycler. And then if this card is in your graveyard, target one other card in your graveyard. Doesn't matter what card it is. Shuffle this card and that card back into your deck.
Spoiler, as much as people think it's the hand rip effect, it is completely that last effect that's the reason he's limited.
Yeah, no, I think it's the fact that he has a hand rip effect and the fact that he is an infinite resetter is the reason why he's limit 1.
Yeah. I don't think it would matter if he didn't have the hand rip effect. I think he'd still be limited because of the reset. Because if you have 2 of them, you can just do so many shenanigans with it.
No, you can't. Well, I mean, I guess you can make rank 8 plays, but everything can do that. It's an infinite loop, but it's a pointless infinite resource loop. Like, okay, so you and it's not infinite because you need other cards in your graveyard, so you need to do other things.
But, I mean, realistically, in the modern game, hand rip for 1 doesn't do much.
True, but it's a quick effect hand rip for 1.
That's true.
And it is face up, so you do see it. Like I said, think that's why he's still limit 1, not banned. I don't think it's a problem at 1. I think the problem is that because he has an infinite resetting effect, is if it was a quick effect and you could burial from a different dimension, do that one pot that lets you return banished cards and draw. Like, there's no once per turn on this guy anywhere for any reason. Actually, no, once per turn during your opponent's standby phase. You can return a banished card to the graveyard. Oh, no, his effect is a soft once per turn. Yeah, so that's why he's 1. It's a soft once per turn.
Yeah.
So if you just keep making more copies, you can keep doing the hand rip effect. And obviously,
It's
if you
his-
can get his main thing out, that's one thing. But they're all, like I said, they're all soft, so I can understand why they don't want you to have multiple
Well,
copies.
no, the soft ones per turn is a problem because of the reset effect.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly why, but there's a video showing
Yeah,
like why
it's just,
2
like-
is a problem.
Yeah. So one is not necessarily an issue. Like he can be as annoying as fuck with that snipe effect, but especially because keep in mind to have made Psyframe Lord Omega, your opponent has probably been, at least in a Psyframe deck, and in fact in some other decks, been making Psyframes. So you may have been expending resources and getting them negated, and then they get a guy.
I'll be honest, the reason I love this card, and I wish there was a card that had a similar effect that didn't have a limit. I love that he resets banished cards.
Yeah, that's pretty cool,
very
and
nice
that
of
is
that.
fairly important for Psyframes. Again, while obviously Omega is the last letter in the Greek alphabet, in addition to being cool, there's a lot of room in the alphabet if you wanted more themes. You could do stuff that does things similarly without being the full Omega effect. So there's a lot of support they could do. I am curious why they haven't really bothered with anything other than the legacy support Link 2.
I think it just wasn't a very popular archetype in Japan, I would guess.
Yeah, I like with Gamma being limit 1, I could see that. And also, honestly, like we said, Psyframe is a really weird deck to play and to play against. I can understand why Konami would not necessarily be eager to jump back into that well by refreshing an old archetype, because it's just like everything you add to Psyframes just gives it more stuff. And to be fair, the Psyframe gears, let's see, Alpha is normal or special.
Alpha's pretty trash, like, being honest.
True, but I'm just covering activation clauses. Alpha is summon, Gamma Delta Epsilon or monster spell other effects.
Trap,
Beta is on attack.
Battles, battle.
So I don't. What would the other
I think
triggers
if
be?
he summoned from graveyard, I think would be a good one.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
like
technically
make it a
you can
ghost
alpha,
spell
but
one.
yes, you're right that alpha's effect is not that great.
Well, like, just make a ghost spell equivalent, essentially.
Yeah. I could also see, like, you know, it would make sense for certain matchups, a card, a Psyframe gear that triggers when your opponent banishes a card, you know.
Yeah.
But strictly speaking, they've got a lot of catch-all effects, so I understand maybe why Konami's not breaking their brain, but like a lot of archetypes we cover on Failed Portrayal, there's plenty of meat here. And
Yeah, honestly,
we can't
this
say
is
their
better than a
aesthetic
lot of the-
isn't.
Yeah.
I've had a weird thing hit me
What's up?
before we get to Lambda, is that I think Digamma, aka the main driver, it's not. I think it's like the anti-villain design. Actually, I don't know if it's something, but I think that might be what they're going for. Like,
Oh,
Japanese
is it like
anti-villain.
it's he after he took off the drive? Yeah, I don't
No,
actually know.
I more meant like the driver is the anti-villain character because all spiky like bullshit and stuff is. Because it might be more of that as like
You
a
mean
direct hero
anti-hero?
figure. No, anti-villain as in that he's a villainous character that's opposing the villain faction but not the heroes.
No, that's not.
That's an anti-hero.
Yeah,
You just said what I said, but a different word.
I thought anti-villain was a different thing. Okay.
an anti-villain is a different thing than what you said.
I don't know. I've never heard
The
term
anti-villain idea is
I
it's
thought
a
it was a corrupted good guy.
no, an anti-villain is the opposite of an anti-hero. A person who is a good guy, but is the villain, the opposition.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a different thing. My bad.
No, you were just describing
No.
the anti-hero is a character who is the antithesis to a hero. They are on the good. They are on the side of the protagonists, but they do not do heroic things. A villain is then
Yeah.
the opposite. A
Oh,
character
okay.
who is what we would say is good, but is on the antagonist's side, which is different from a villain protagonist. But you know, postmodernism dynamics get different. Anyway, we pulled up Lambda's effect. Lambda is the form of multi-threader.
Actually, that looks really enough.
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean,
this just
gang
looks like
fights.
multi-threader with shoulder pads.
Yeah, basically,
She
like
just-
wearing one of the
she
gears.
just finished her molten core rage, got her new shoulder pads.
Yeah. I do think she also has like an. Well, we didn't see her front, so I don't know if the face belt is new, and she's got a new hat. That's it. Yeah. No, you're right. This is just multi-threader got her raid gear set. She's got a new hat.
Yeah,
She's got
no.
new shoulders.
So it's to me it's
She got a new hat.
So here's the weird thing about Toku is that the main character usually gets multiple tiers of upgrades, and the secondary only gets a singular thing. Where this feels like that, where Driver got 3 pieces of gear and she gets 1.
I mean, she's got more than one. There are differences. Like, Multi-Threader, I don't think she had this, like, ribbon on one of her wrists before, for instance. There's more stylistic differences, but she does have only one form.
Because how I took it is that it's one gear that broke apart into multiple pieces she put on.
I could see that. I don't think... Does this... Let me check the trivia, actually. Does Lambda have an equivalent frame gear? No.
God, the trivia is just going to be, is a woman.
No, the trivia... first of all, I'm on Yugipedia now. The trivia is just, this is the Link Monster counterpart to Multi-Threader. Yeah, cool. Thanks, guys. Nobody could have told that, man.
All right, not Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki, which is...
No. Is a woman.
That will never not be the funniest video MBT has ever made.
It's pretty good. But yeah, no. So I do not believe we have a frame gear that corresponds to Lambda's setup. So there's definitely some wiggle room there. But Lambda is like a lot of the Link support from the Vrains pack. Though admittedly not the bullshit one.
So this is a meme, but there's always the meme of they always can make the Link one that gets the field spell.
True. I mean, but you don't need the Link one. You can just do... You could just do Psyframe Gear Blepsilon. I don't know. Pick whatever you want. Kappa.
Oh my god, Blepsilon?
Is there... What's another letter that's, like, not...
Pi.
Pi is very funny, yeah. But, like, you can pick any letter you like and then just be like... And, you know,
Psyframe Gear Pi.
add a Psyframe spell trap to your hand. Because I will say that is a thing they don't have. Other than Lambda has an effect that is very slow. They don't have a direct searcher.
Could they make one that just activates when another Cypher card effect is activated? To search other cards?
I mean, I guess, but that would be a spell trap angle. I'm looking to, like, an Alpha replacement, basically. Because Alpha just says, you know, draw a card.
I still vote for the Go spell one just because it'd be useful.
I mean, they can do multiples. It's not like you're hurting. Because, as we said, half of the shit goes on the side deck anyway. So, you know, having multiple different options wouldn't be bad. Anyway, Psyframe Lambda is a Link 2 Psychic. 1700 attack. 2 monsters except tokens. So, technically generic, but it does at least have that no token requirement. But you don't really run Lambda in anything but Psyframe decks, I don't think.
No.
You can activate the effects of Psyframe Gear monsters in your hand even while you control a monster, so Lambda basically lets you get ahead on board state.
It lets you...
If a face-up psychic monster you control is banished while this card is face-up, except during the damage step, or while you control this card, you can activate this effect during your end phase, add a Psyframe card to your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Lambda once per turn. So, Lambda is technically also your searcher, but it's a very slow searcher. I think the idea is, because it is in the end phase, your psychic monsters are banished because they've gone away after activating their effects while you control a Lambda. So it's the end phase, so you immediately cycle into your next Psyframe for your next turn. But that doesn't necessarily help you get to your spell and trap card support, and I don't think we need to pull up the art for Circuit, but we should talk about it because that kind of makes the deck as well. So I think there's still some wiggle room to get this deck pretty competent. You know, like, they don't have specific spell trap searchers. So Circuit is a field spell. If a Psyframe monster is special summoned to your side of the field except during the damage step, after this effect you can immediately after this effect resolve synchro summon a synchro monster using only Psyframe monsters you control. At the start of the damage step, if a Psyframe controls an opponent's monster, discard a Psyframe, gains attack to discarded. So it turns all your Psyframes into Honest. Decent. And as Dallas brought up earlier, lets you synchro summon immediately when you special them on your opponent's turn, so it lets you actually do your plays. And the fact that they don't really have a lot of good searchers for this is probably what hurts this deck from being, like, meta even now.
I mean, yeah, it's the searchers, and they have no protection for their field spell.
Yeah.
Like, multi-threader technically, but it's so hard to set that up.
Yeah. And I would also keep in mind, you don't necessarily need more extra deck monsters, because this says synchro summon a synchro monster using only Psyframes you control. So obviously, while you would probably want to use that for Zeta or Omega, you can also just use that for generic 7s and 8s if you need to.
Yeah, it's a 7 and 8 deck, which...
Yeah. Which, by the way, that's hilarious. This means you can Black Rose on your opponent's turn.
Yup.
which is
That was very common.
actually a good, which is actually a good tech.
Yeah, no, pretty rad.
It just kills your field spell though.
It's true. but
Yeah. I mean, there's ways to get around that, but yeah, the decks could use. I mean, like obviously, then it's just like, oh well, you put an Omega or Zeta in your graveyard and just put the Cyframe circuit back.
Cyframe Kappa. I'm just imagining just.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I feel like
up with the Kappa face.
they should probably try to not do that, just because MBT would never let that one
It
go.
would have to be it actually to be the big
No,
symbol.
that would be the best Cypher. It just. I want Cypher.
They use it. It's the one that Lambda's wearing.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it. It could be funny. But yeah, that's all of the Cyframes except a couple of their spell traps. Let me actually read those again. I don't think they're super relevant.
I mean, there's a good spell trap. I don't know if it was that for Cyframes. I don't know if it was specifically a Cyframe trap. It is a psychic trap.
We have Accelerator and Overlord are the only in-archetype field spell traps left. Accelerator is a continuous trap that says once per turn, pay 500 life points, target a Cyframe monster you control, banish it until your standby phase. Once per turn, if another face-up Cyframe card you control leaves the field, except during the damage step, special summon a Cyframe from your hand. So that just lets you cycle easier.
Like Psychic Path was a very common like.
And then Overload is another continuous trap card. Wow, we're really all about not playing on your turn.
Overload was very
Yeah.
played.
Overload is banish a Cyframe from your hand or face-up field, target a card on the field, banish it face down during either player's turn except the card is sent from the graveyard. Banish this card from your graveyard as Cyframe except Overload to your deck. So this is another searcher. It's just slow.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they're worried about setting up the hand traps. I'm just like, make it a spell trap searcher. I know you've only got 3, but one of them is critical.
Yeah, honestly, even if it was just a field spell searcher, it would be good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And again, the reason why I did not like bring up those card arts is because they're just not interesting.
Yeah, it's just various Cyframes doing things.
Yeah, Accelerator is just I think it's Omega going fast. Literally, he's just going fast in a straight line, and then Overload is just Omega doing a sick trick on his scooter.
Yeah, he's doing a wheelie kickflip.
Yeah, like there's not a lot going on there.
Doing the 900.
Yeah, just say add Cyframe circuit works. I mean, we're here. Do we want? And we've only been going for 2 hours. Do we want to pull up Masquerena just because we can?
Sure. Like, I think we also
She has a
can
couple
grab,
card arts.
Yeah. She might just come back when we do like Cyforce.
Well, like I
but
said,
that's
we should
yeah.
probably do because Time Thief and S-Force are both pretty small. I know like a lot of people know
Relatively,
about
yeah.
Time Thieves, but like
If we like
monster-wise,
just,
there's only like 8, 10?
it's just
What,
three
time people a lot of important spell
Freaksies.
traps. So
And honestly,
No,
a
they
lot
don't
of
really.
the non-Xyz monsters are just... It's a dog.
It's
Yeah.
a dog that is also a clock.
I think it's only like
It's a lamp.
it's just there's a
whatever the
yeah,
fuck,
I think besides the spell trap something like
that
a bit
thing
to the
is.
storyline, but that's whatever you can say of yourselves.
Yeah, I think I don't like Flyback might have some stuff. There's also that one that shows like a science lady that like we're doing
Oh, yeah,
things,
Perpetua
but
in the,
anyway,
Perpetua is a time loops herself into knowing the tech.
possibly. Again, I don't think we're confirmed. It does look like Perpetua though, so it probably is because they are time thieves. But who the fuck knows? Who really knows with Yu-Gi-Oh?
Redoer and Time Winder are the same person.
No,
You
'Cause-
love making assumptions, don't you?
Or so I thought that was.
I know they have different hair colors and hairstyles,
Well, styles doesn't mean anything, but...
and it
They
doesn't
also-
also
yeah.
doesn't. I now feel like I want to look this up, but I don't know if I actually want to. But
I think Redoer might be part of that other Xyz. That's 2 people.
let's see. There's
Double Winder?
Or, sorry, not Redoer, Time Winder.
so like
'Cause-
where's
Because there is the
Shit,
one where it's Time
Wonder
Winder and
Double Barrel.
Redoer.
Well,
is
there's
in-
Double
in
Barrel,
together.
yes.
Yeah, Double Barrel.
Double Barrel is the 2 of them together. Let me look at this. Nah, they got different. Actually, I think they have different eye colors. I'll have to load this art way up.
I apologize if I guess how would I digged it up and how people like try to put it together. I apologize.
Don't believe everything you read on the internet.
I mean, some people could talk
Sorry,
about.
I looked up is Time Thief for newer, and the first one was a woman.
No, it's very funny.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like, I could see maybe from retrograde, but that's both of them giving thumbs up. I think that's as they're both being kicked into the time stream at the same time.
Do is Time Thief gay?
Oh my god. I want to go back.
Sorry.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Time
I'm
Thief
fighting
does gay.
Wikipedia now. I have too many fucking
Okay, good.
tabs. I'm gonna ignore the tabs. We shouldn't even be here.
Just think of that.
I'm
dumb
sorry.
Bruno
I
Mars
didn't mean to
gay.
get this down. I didn't open
Is
the
Bruno
wormhole.
Mars does
I didn't
gay.
mean to open the wormhole.
Well, then why did you say things?
I thought it was. I didn't know it would
You
be
thought.
controversial.
And that's
Cite your
what he
sources.
joking.
Didn't you get through college? Didn't they destroy you if you
You
didn't
went to
cite
business-
every
I went to
fucking
business.
I
sentence
didn't
you
get
made?
research papers.
He went to business school.
But they made me do that in fucking English comp. Is that not? Don't you have to do 5 of those classes? I exaggerate.
No, I didn't.
What the fuck were your gen ed classes then? Don't tell me business lets you skip gen ed.
No,
They
it was
should
fun
have the
with
most gen ed.
It was science and math courses.
Fucking bullshit science and math that nobody needs, and they don't do fucking English comp as your requirements.
Yeah. Omega, don't look at me. I have done more research papers than
I think I
any
did a
person
writing. I think I
alive.
Oh
did a writing class, but that was like my first year of 5.
And not writing. Specifically, the 3 classes I had taken, yes, it was 3 levels, were English comp. Those were all required general education credits to get my degree.
I think I only had to take 1 English, but I had to take a class specifically dedicated to writing research papers.
That seems appropriate. That sounds right. But like,
I mean,
no,
you're in a
that's
medical field, so that makes sense.
that's what English comp taught me. Like, yes, we did actually, like, in higher levels, like, actually get to, like, analyzing like different forms of like narrative and presentation and stuff. But like,
I think it's the thing of like, if I'd gone to an English comp class, that would have actually fucked me, because it'd be like, hey, everything you learned in the English comp class about MLA format, ignore it. We don't use that here. We don't do that here.
True, if you use a different citation format. But yeah, no,
We
like
use
that's
APA format.
every
We don't do-
single
we don't do
fucking
MLA.
like even for my all of the papers I had to write and all of my fucking topics for all my criminal justice classes were also like, hey, cite all your sources and stuff.
So it wasn't about, because all my stuff was not about getting sources, except for the one time I had to do a pseudo research paper, but that was a prison.
This says a lot about business
It was
school.
more about using sources for data calculation.
But I assume you still
Yeah.
have to cite it. Facts or data, Axe. Alternatively, Axe is just explaining to me what's wrong with our modern
Well,
business education.
were-
Literally,
they
all
were-
of them are source. I pulled it out of my ass.
Well, no, it's more the source is already given to you by the person grading you, so you just work. with what
That's
you were given.
dumb. Then how do you know to find your own sources? The sources, I pulled it out of my ass. I'm discovering so much that's wrong with our world today. What they're teaching these kids.
They teach you how to process data and not find your own data.
Oh my god. Fuck, dude. Do you know how many hours I spent in my college library?
I
Fucking finding bullshit to make up my
I-
own stories? God damn.
I didn't have to find resources for like any form of research until like
Oh.
my last year for a big project.
Axe,
course.
I can't source my own ship, and I still had to do that in high school even. So I
In
don't know
in
what
school
the fuck
I did,
you're
yes.
talking
In college, I
Omega,
just
at
it
least
wasn't.
at least you were able to find. I couldn't use my college library because it's just like, well, we don't have any research papers here.
Yeah,
mine
that's
did.
fair.
It
That's-
was really,
that's
it was
a-
really
that's a
good.
fact.
I just never had to do it till like my last year, so it was kind of a
Dallas,
fucking
I
mess.
thought you were about to say you couldn't find your college library.
No,
Oh
you
no,
couldn't
I
find
went
materials.
there because the coffee shop was in there.
Problem is,
Was
I
it
also
like-
avoided taking classes that were about writing research papers because I knew I'd suck at them.
I mean, I can't talk.
Well,
I
then you
spent-
should probably stop claiming so many facts because you don't do
I
research.
wasted my my university days playing fucking Magic the Gathering and Warcraft 3 custom games.
I mean, I
I
did
didn't-
one of those things sometimes.
I mean,
I have played
didn't-
both Magic the Gathering and D&D on my college
I did a
campus.
dumb thing of I didn't mention my source because I thought you just if I mentioned the source, you'd think it'd be completely stupid immediately. So it's
No,
like,
it had the
guess.
opposite effect, so you assumed wrong.
Okay.
But also, I don't actually, like... Again, people are talking back and forth. I think there's some...
I guess like it's a theory thing. I guess.
Yeah, it seems like it's theory crafting. I don't
Game theory.
actually see anything in the actual card arts that necessarily suggest that. Like I said, there's...
Dallas, I want to murder you.
There's that one art of flyback or retrograde or whatever card I mentioned earlier that's like looks like older Perpetua on a screen shooting them through the wormhole with the time ship, but that's both of them at once giving a thumbs up.
It's at
'cause they're
least
both
Perpetua going to save her younger self, I think.
I'm
Something.
fairly certain the science
Like, obviously
lady
they're
is
called
Perpetua.
Time Thief, so there's probably some time loop stuff, but at the very least it seems like Winder and Redoer, like, start at the same point.
I'm gonna be honest. This is just supporting why I hate time travel as a plot mechanism.
That's
in
fair. And they're
stories.
like they make
It
it a
does break
loop
your
at
brain a
least in
lot.
that one. It's they don't actually have text for it. It's just images that explain it. So that's the problem.
Anyway, this is IP Masquerena, who
I like her
is
design.
in the Psyframe and S-Force universe. You can see her in one of their card arts. Chiyomaru is chasing her.
I kind of want to see art of her actually with the mask on her face instead of her taking it off.
So this is just Catwoman, basically.
Yeah, basically, this is
Cyber
this
Catwoman,
is
yeah.
anime Cyber Catwoman. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
this
sure
is
there's already a
Cyber
Cyber Catwoman.
or some shit.
What's the yeah? This is just Batman Beyond Catwoman.
Yeah, basically. Like, I mean, she's got some interesting stuff. They did some different between the two designs, obviously. Like her alt art, which is in some merch. I believe I have this matte and
I
binder.
can't believe she's gonna beat up Terry McGinnis.
She's got a. They did a different design for her, like tail and mask. This is like the V2, and she's got a motorcycle now instead of her fucking rollerblades. The rollerblades are still cool though.
It would have
I
been
have the
dumb if
dumbest
she
thing
was
is-
on the motorcycle with the rollers.
With the rollerblades, yes, that would be goofy.
It'd be honestly, I feel like if it was anime, it'd be a bit where her shoes turn into the rollerblades, if like a click or
You
something.
know what this
but yeah.
reminds me of, actually?
What's up?
No,
Have you
wheelies.
ever seen the not Cyberpunk, the Spider-Man? Oh God, what the fuck was it?
2099.
Yeah, 2099. This definitely has that aesthetic.
Yeah, you could also say this is Cyber Black Cat.
Like, she has like a neon butt plug cat tail.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, given the way it is in the second, that's probably like a prosthetic. It's
Or
like
a
attached to
I
her,
was
projectile.
gonna say that. I was probably gonna say
tailbone.
it.
But
I don't actually know what it's
mean.
yeah.
Like especially the motorcycle art. Like, let me see if I can pull up Spider-Man.
And they definitely
2099
did a lot more background artwork. Like, that's got that classic, like, cyberpunk near future, like, hologram neon backglow, for instance.
My dumb axe take is that I weirdly could see this as a freelancer in Singularity, but that's my.
Like, for example, this is Spider-Man 2099's Doc Ock. Which is
Sorry,
why
I
I got
tapped
this.
over. All I saw was Kirby.
It's your own fault.
Yeah, it is my own fault. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah, no, that's
terrible.
Doc Ock in
It's just
2099.
No.
Well, yeah, but that's why.
I mean, I will
it's
say,
the-
shout out
the
to them
same
for, like, a
acting
couple
here.
different variations. Like, you can see that the alt art is not just the same card, but a different pose. Like, she has a different outfit in the two. Like, the motorcycle one is almost... It's not quite riding leathers, but, like, it's got a lot more bodysuit look.
She's got
Whereas
it's her rollerblading outfit and her biking outfit.
Yeah, her rollerblade outfit does actually look like she's going to rollerblade, right? Like she's wearing a crop top and some yoga pants, and a weird see-through raincoat.
Oh, I think
Yeah,
she
no.
still. I think she also still has the tail in the.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's
she
just
does have the
hard-
tail. It just looks different.
It's just white.
Yeah, it's not powered up yet.
Yeah, which is why it's literally it looks like a fluorescent tube.
Yeah,
Probably is.
she just took the lamp off the ceiling.
Because like it's probably just like a prehensile like prosthetic kind of thing. Where it, like
Trust me, I've seen enough wrestling death matches. I've seen enough of those get broken over people's heads.
But yeah, and again,
Look at, if you want to see a good time, Google. I think it's called 1,000 exploding light tubes deathmatch.
damn,
that's
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
insane.
Because
yeah,
Japanese
the-
wrestling is actually insane.
It's
True.
actually just
Is
just
true.
anime in real life.
Like WWE is goofy. Japanese wrestling scares me.
yeah. But so Masquerena is, you probably know her, but to clarify, she is a Dark Cybers Link 2, 2 non-Link monsters, 800 attack, bottom arrows, same as Lambda also had bottom arrows. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, after this effect resolves, Link summon a Link monster using materials control, including this card. You can only use this effect of Masquerena once per turn. A Link monster that used this card as material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effect. So Masquerena is a
CIP.
very common Link climbing card. You can use it to Link summon something big on your opponent's turn, or just use her as a Link 2 when you Link climb. to
Yeah.
make them indestructible.
She's a very common end board.
Yes.
Piece, yeah.
Because she's just any 2 non-link monsters, which I think is a decent restriction. It requires you to actually make 2 boys and not just link it off,
Yeah.
you know?
She's also really good in Cyframe, actually, think about it.
But
'cause
you
could use
can
it to,
do
like, go
also
on
do
and-
shit like Quick Effect Appaloosa, which is
Yes, you can quick effect into Appa, which is fairly, depending on the deck, can be pretty frustrating.
Even, like, Close Goddess, too, if like, it's that bad.
I will say at
but-
least it appears that Mask is relatively cheap. I'm looking at, apparently, according to the wiki,
Well, yeah,
TCG
'cause she
prices
was
are,
promoed.
yeah.
She was promoted out.
And they did do an
Also-
alt art recently that,
Is it dumb for me to be like, the joke is that her protection effect is she masks the IP?
oh no, I think that's intentional. She is a Cybers, and, like, I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what they're going for, is, like, that's why they called her. Again,
She's
that
a
is
cyber
straight up
hacker.
her name, by the way, in Japanese, IP Masquerena. Now, it's not IP, it does have a colon, so it's like a drive target, but yeah.
We have apparently killed Moth.
When she link summons link climbs, she just passes the resulting monster NordVPN.
Yeah, basically, there you go.
Or-
Hey,
it's a
Nord,
custom
by the
VPN,
way,
like, for England, yeah.
if you want to call me, I'll do a sponsorship. I've got a gag lined up.
You get art of, like,
Yes,
Masquerena
no,
putting
the
it- yeah,
the
Masquerena driving
Max
up.
line. Basically, any deck where you want to make a big,
what
high-level
Yu-Gi-Oh!
link monster.
Now,
Masquerena.
what Yu-Gi-Oh card would be sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends?
A lot of
Which
them.
one wouldn't, TBH? Have you
Uh,
seen Raid's aesthetics? They're all over the place.
Everyone, I would say every
That's
card
very true.
pre-2006 would work.
Oh. No, I'm not gonna say anything.
No, Dallas, don't say anything that won't allow me to be sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. I am
No.
free to
I
all
mean,
sponsorship
you-
offers.
What I was gonna say.
thought they gave
what I was
less money
gonna
out
say is
nowadays.
I thought I'm the one who plays the game.
Isn't it still
It's true.
ripoff? Or no?
I mean, I haven't paid money into it much, so
Much.
I do what I do in most gacha games I try. I buy,
Oh
like,
my
whatever
God.
the starter
Well, I
bundle
guess they
is
do have a
and
card
stuff.
for this.
Oh, what now?
Sorry, it's just like I'm looking at the wiki
good
for
one.
S Force, and they're
Interactors.
just like they're like, so the design is you have the members, and then you have their nemesis, and it's like what?
What?
Nemesis.
Also, I think you're
Nemesis?
no, I guess S Force specimen does
It would
show
be-
a
it would be
driver
it's
fighting.
Nemesis.
Orphis, yeah.
No, fighting Daigama.
Oh, Dagama. Oh.
But Daigama is
Interesting.
dressed like anyway. It's weird.
I think he might have just developed the tech.
Also, haha!
Obviously, his
Fuck you, Axe.
It's his brother.
Chiyomaru and Dog Tag are in S Force chase together, chasing Masquerena. Haha! I win. Victory for me.
Fair
Fucking
enough.
pretty
sassing me
sure-
about her having a little dog.
The dog and the.
But yeah, no. This is a really dumb aesthetic because yes, that is how the oh my god, they call it clash depictions. Yes, technically the S Force spell cards do show these kinds of things, except I think Bridgehead is multi-threader meets their big link guy, which is not relevant
justify
because they're not fighting, they're just meeting on the bridge, which is also like a Stargate. But like that also leaves out the fact that there's like 4 more S Force monsters that aren't in spell traps. It's weird. It's dumb. Don't do that.
They were later because
Don't-
was way before that.
No?
so.
I don't think they're later
Where
because
does the field
Dog
spell,
Tag
isn't
was later. The field
Dog
spell
Tag
was
is
right
back
away.
in Cybertron.
But like, there's no
Show me your
spell
sword.
trap.
I'll find the release dates of the fucking cards.
But no, Gravitino's not in a spell trap.
True. Actually, he's not.
Edge Rager was
What?
later.
Omega, I have an important question in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh design philosophy.
Yeah.
Is Gravitino awful?
Gravitino?
He's good for in the deck because he's a special.
I
Because
mean-
that would explain why he wouldn't be in the art.
No, yeah, no. Gravitino does actually do stuff for you. That is,
Okay,
he,
yeah,
he,
that
ser-
does-
he searches. He's your main target off Palatina.
Palutino?
Pal equals Tina. I don't.
Falutna.
Platina.
Palatina.
There's a dash.
Also, that card. Don't tell me she does not scream villain.
Oh no, for sure. She's like their administrator.
Like she is evil.
Well,
at least
okay,
keep
okay.
in the system.
She does have a tattoo on her thigh, which is exposed under her leggings.
Yes.
That, while that shouldn't scream villain, I understand how anime works.
Yeah. Like, if
She's
it
at
wasn't
least the arc
But
one
like,
villain.
I mean, she doesn't have like villain
Using-
eyes or anything. Like,
using anime tropes, her
She's at
design
least-
is villain.
She's at least
Like,
the
she's not
morally
like-
bankrupt one.
Let me rephrase that. She's not like a haha, I want to destroy the world kind of.
I mean, she
villain.
is a.
She's
I
like-
will say there is a good point. S-Force is kind of a chaos deck. Like they have dark and light monsters. They're not actually a chaos deck in that sense, but they have different darks and lights, and they do have some special summoning requirements. So maybe there are subtle tells here. Like
Some are
Platina is a
some are-
dark.
Some were evil. Chibabaro's also a dark, I think, but
Like this cyber samurai dude is definitely screams evil to me because
he's
looks
also
like
an anti-link
Yoshimitsu.
card, so yeah.
Okay, Chiyomaru is a dark. That's really interesting. Maybe they don't mean anything by that, because Chiyomaru is just. I mean, they drew her in a card art being like.
She's the cadet. She's the cadet. of the
Yeah,
group.
an adorable bean trying to chase masks. So I
Okay.
doubt they're
She's
saying.
also, I
dark.
think,
Fine.
I think she's also the one calling her people in because she keeps, I think, calling them or something like that. Because she's the main.
I mean,
But,
yes, you can technically use Masquerena for Nightmare Links. Does that work
She
that way? I
gives
think it
me,
does.
honestly, what's her face? Chiyomaru gives me Sarah's Victoria vibes.
Police girl, yeah.
Of like the only normal person in this insanity.
I mean, personally,
he's an orifice,
she
but
gives
he's
me
he's a cyber cowboy.
she gives me Chuni vibes because she's wearing giant spike heels and has a giant shuriken. So clearly, she's like, I am a ninja.
yeah,
That's fair.
and then because
Also,
one of her
hey,
coworkers is a
so
space
guys,
wants a space Ronin. Or
I
Cyber
have to leave off Masquerena. We have to switch gears rapidly. Oh, this image is tiny.
Are we doing new?
I'll blow it up.
New cards?
I have just been informed of a new card reveal, the next V-Jump promo.
Oh,
This is Kotsu Gatai Zextaga.
Oh my god, they're
Okay.
making a Sentai version of Insector.
This is
Insectors
just,
are already Sentai.
This is a common writer. This is
No, I think it's meant to be the Megazord, or I guess just the weird like
He's
or
going
it's the anniversary
Okay.
movie for, which is fucking goofy bullshit or dog shit.
hey, Axe. We did watch Kamen Rider Saber, correct? I
Yes,
rest my case.
that doesn't mean
That's it.
anything. That doesn't mean anything, but okay.
So this is a
literally-
level
he has
10
a
insect
sword that
monster, or
turns
level
into a
8, sorry.
Megazord.
Wind
Okay,
insect
fair, that is that
monster.
form, yes.
1500 attack, 2600 defense. You can use its first and third effects once per turn. 1, if an insect monster is special summon this card from your hand. Gains 300 attack for every insect monster on the field. During your end phase, each player can special summon one insect monster from your hand or graveyard, but its effects are negated. So, yeah, expect to see this sometime in 2023 because it's a V-Jump promo, because we still fucking do that. God damn it.
I missed what it was doing. What?
It's Insector support. Well, I guess you could also use it in Bee Trooper, though.
You can
When an
use it in
insect is
ballpark.
special summoned, you can special summon this card. It gains 300 attack for every insect monster for each other insect on the field. So its attack still starts at
It could
1500.
become 27. Okay. Or no, it could become 3,000 if you have 4 or 5 slots.
And then during each end phase, each player can special summon one insect monster from their hand or graveyard, but its effects are negated during each end.
I mean,
phase.
if you're playing in like a
I
link
mean,
deck
that's
or
pretty good for
have
insect
bodies.
decks.
yeah,
yeah.
no. It's a free special if you special any
It
insect
sounds like
monster.
it sounds like a good 2 of in the deck. Like
Well,
one,
no,
one
it'd be a
actually, one-
3
one-
of, or it'd be a
Also, by the
3
way,
of, I think, 'cause
are
you
these
can
new
search it off of resonance.
Oh, fair, yeah.
are these new ninjas TCG exclusive?
We
Or
have
do they
ninjas?
show up in
No, because they were in Japanese first. I think the ninjas.
these new ones? Were they? Because
Uh,
I don't
the red
remember
two
them.
Ones. Yeah, because the new ninja support.
The
I know that 'cause
cannon,
that was
the
like,
beast, whatever.
Oh
Why
yeah,
them-
no, like, they were like, literally like, announced on a Japanese stream.
But did they come out in Japanese first? Chat, let me know.
I do not know that part. I just know they were announced in Japanese first.
Cause like
That
I
doesn't
don't
mean
if they
shit.
aren't, I don't know why the fuck the Yu-Gi-Oh organization is displaying them. Cause they're like talking about their effects and stuff. So if it's not new, it's not a reveal. Like why are they doing that? But yeah, there's a bunch of ninja support coming in Darkwing Blast. That's a very funny trap card. Destructive Daruma Karma Cannon. Here, chat, get a load of this. This is a much higher quality image. Get a load of this guy. Is that framed up right? Yeah, it is. Look at that.
That is.
Look at this boy.
This looks like a Gradius boss.
I would say
I'm pretty
Parodius, but
sure
yes.
Parodius.
Well, it is a Konami because this is an already existing card.
Yeah, Daruma. Or
Yeah.
whatever it was. They've just made into
What
a
is-
giant mech.
What does it do?
I think it's a
Fuck you.
normal monster.
No, this is a
I
trap
meant the
card.
Trap.
Oh no, sorry.
Can you not tell by the pink border?
Change as many monsters
I
on the
thought-
field as possible to face-down defense position. Then, if either player controls a face-up monster, they must send all face-up monsters they control to the graveyard. So,
Ooh, that sounds
hey,
fun.
do you want to tell Lynx to die? Destructive
That
Daruma
sounds
Karma
aw-
Cannon.
And it's a trap, which means it's
It
great.
is a
It's-
normal
what kind of
trap, yes.
a
And
normal
it does
trap. Ooh.
send monsters. It removes
Put
monsters
this
from
in
the field.
Labyrinth. It's great.
But yeah, no. So this seems to be a way for flip decks and other like defense mode face down decks.
Remember
to
I
get
said
back
like
at
an
Lynx?
idea of cards that if it cannot like I said the current kind of flip deck where you can flip a card but it can't be flipped face down. It just you banish it face down. I guess this is like that.
Yeah, I mean it's sent to the graveyard, so it's destruction proof, but pretty good. There's also I don't know why
yeah.
they put this in here, but there's apparently a generic Link 4 water monster coming out. World Sea Dragon Zealantis.
Oh, is it the one that requires only 1+ materials?
Yeah, what's 1+?
Yeah, that's the King Salmon support. Weirdly enough.
Oh my god! I told you
It's
they were
not.
doing a King Salmon support.
It's not though. Axe is wrong.
It's not. It's olden.
It's
It's
fish
olden
support.
Lantern.
It's-
It's like
I
uh,
don't think you're right. You're just saying shit, Axe. I'm looking at its effect. It
I'm
doesn't do anything.
misremembering.
It's it.
Okay.
You can only control one World Sea Dragon Zealantis. You can only use each of the following effects of Zealantis once per turn. During your main phase, banish all monsters on the field and special summon as many monsters as possible that are banished by this effect to their owner's fields face up or in face down defense position.
Sounds good.
During the battle phase, you can destroy cards on the field up to the number of monsters co-linked on the field.
Okay, so it's for water.
So it lets you wipe the board and then... No, number of co-linked monsters on the field. So
Okay.
not
Well, no,
co-linked to
it's-
this card.
it is related to an old Yu-Gi-Oh card, but it's not.
I think World Sea has been used a little bit.
Well, no, it's Sea Dragon Gishilnanon.
He does kind of look like that, but yeah, no, it's just another weird Link 4. I think the main point is just to you use its
Well,
banish
Sea
effect so
Dragon's
you
a bit-
can rearrange everybody.
Yeah.
Is it
There's
1+?
also Levier, the Sea
Is it
Dragon.
1+ normal
there's
monsters
Mecha
or
Sea
No,
one
one
plus
plus
monster?
effect monsters.
Okay.
They must be effect monsters.
Like there's Sea Dragon is a thing.
Yeah.
It's not like an archetype. But
Well,
it's
it
like a
also, I
recurring
mean,
theme.
it's not. That's not how it's. Not necessarily how it's spelled. It's World Sea Space Dragon Space
This
Zealantis.
one's also interesting because you can link it right off just a link 4 you already have.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
I'm
yeah,
just
you
saying
can
there's
use it
been
over a Link 4.
No, there's been Sea Space Dragon like as a thing.
But we do know about the new bird. There's a fuck ton of new Gotti stuff that I'm not going to get into. But yes, Gotti is getting its second wave.
Is one of them called somebody that you used to know?
No.
Damn it.
I thought it was Goatee, but no.
I don't think it actually matters.
All right.
But like, there's like, Ixip, Snopus, Zep, and then there's like two more synchro monsters and 2 more traps. So there you go. If you were interested in that, I don't think that Gotti is gonna shake the shit up.
I mean, it's decent. If it gets enough support, it could.
I mean, it's basically that thing where like half the archetype was in last set and now half the archetype. They've got 3 more main deck monsters, 2 new traps, and 2 new synchro monsters. So I
And they
do
all
know
like
that the
being
deck
banished,
was really
so-
hurting for more fish synchros to make. So this is
And
good
they
to give
all-
them
they
2
all
more
like to be
options.
banished, so honestly, like that Sea Dragon link would probably be
Yeah.
for you.
mean,
Valiant's
it
got a
could
new
be-
boss monster who's a fusion pendulum,
Yes.
and he's a contact fusion.
Make the
um,
deck more confusing to people.
This fate,
I love
Make it
this
so you can win by confusing your opponent.
So the way this card is
Yeah.
phrased, this face-down card in the extra deck must first be special summoned by tributing the above cards.
that sounds like a pendulum card, yeah.
I love it. I love
Two
it.
level 5 or higher Valiance monsters. So it specifies, while it's face down in your extra deck, you have to contact fuse it.
That's at
I'm
least.
going to.
That's I appreciate that because at least that makes
I'm
sense.
going to play Valiant.
Oh my god, wait,
just
hold on, I didn't
because
read this card's
they're
monster
an
effect.
abomination
Wait.
of
Quick
There's more
effect,
text.
you can switch the locations of 2 monsters in your main monster zone or 2 monsters in your opponent's main monster zone. So not flip them, but either or.
That sounds
if
actually really
a
useful.
card in the monster zone moves to another monster zone, destroy one card in the field. So it also gets a pop effect.
So you can trigger the pop by moving
Yes.
stuff
Is
around.
that
Also
once per
moving
turn?
moving yourself around also triggers your other Valiant effect. So it
Yes,
actually works out
but
really
like
well.
it lets
Am I
you
gonna
fuck
use-
with two of your opponent's monsters
that
or
once
two of
per
your
turn?
monsters. The destroy is no. Yes, both. Sorry, it's Japanese format.
Okay.
You can only use each effect once per turn.
Okay, that's a little disappointing. If the pop effect wasn't once per turn, I would be like, wait, Valiant. might
But
actually
it
be
also
good.
does have the pendulum effects, obviously.
Does it
so,
become pendulum when it's destroyed?
No, it does not scale up when it's destroyed. But and it says you can only use the pendulum effects of this card once per turn. It's special special summon this card from your two main monster zone in the same column, or remove one monster from your main monster zone to adjacent column.
Oh, dude, Valiant Yajiro Invader combo.
Oh, I mean, I'm
Such
sure
a good idea.
I'm sure that line exists. But yeah, there's lots of new
Look.
Yu-Gi-Oh stuff coming out.
Sounds like Tale of 500 stuff.
I'm just gonna say, I'm going to play Valiants off the back of them being a Yu-Gi Boomer's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Honestly,
There's two new Ice
yeah.
Jades have been announced. I don't think they're going to do anything.
I mean, Ice Jade branded is not a bad deck.
I mean, I guess that could keep them relevant. Basically,
want
I
that
feel
type
like
deck.
we're not this set, but Photon Hyper Shockwave is definitely leading to the conclusion of the Abyss arc, because you've got the biggest and stupidest Dogmatica Ritual Boy. There is a new Sword Soul monster, Sword Soul of the Abyss. It's a main deck monster. There's a new
gonna-
Ice Jade Synchro. Like,
I think probably within next year we'll probably see the end of Albaz's story.
yeah, I suspect it's probably a set or two away, depending on what they want to do. Like, I don't know if there's a final archetype that's like, you know.
They might be just giving support to all the archetypes.
Yeah.
By this point, honestly.
World Chalice 2.
Basically. I don't think we know the next outright archetype to fit into the Visa Starfrost line. They do have some more support coming for Kishri Law and Tyr, because Tyr's field spell is limited or banned, so they're coming up with the less busted version.
I'm already sick of Tyr.
Get ready to pitch him.
Oh, right, I
I'm
just
so
remembered.
glad I don't play.
Like, I hope
competitive
we can
Yu-Gi-Oh.
at least try to get to through DDD in before October is finished, but we might have to do it in multiple parts.
Well, no, we did the one for the winning poll. That was this one, Cyframe.
Oh, okay.
You gotta win another poll. I'm not rewarding a tie. I don't want you to make a tie because that requires me to do extra effort.
Alright, I should have.
Yes, anybody who originated a tie, whether that's you, Axe, or anybody out there.
I voted I voted weeks ago, and then I just let it sit. So
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
I
Like,
did
if you are looking at the numbers and you are gonna engineer a tie, don't do that.
I don't think I did at the time. I don't know.
Well, I'm pretty sure you didn't, because like you said, you voted a million years ago. I'm talking to somebody saw those numbers and saw how many days were left, and were like, "Ooh, I'll make it 6-6." Don't do that.
Only villains do that.
And I don't know what will happen as we continue to go through that line, but it'll get worse.
I'm of the belief that it was Axe, but he just forgot.
I mean, I wasn't the last one
Axe's
to
sinister
vote.
plan.
I wasn't the last one to vote
No.
But yes, you can vote
because
on it.
I forgot the poll was open at all.
Am I?
Well, it's not open right now. It's been closed for weeks.
Exactly.
I mean, also, I think you're wrong. I don't think we have a dark. Or if we did, it's like a million years ago, and I don't remember it. I don't think we have a dark Ecclesia.
I think it's the Crimson one, or like the.
No, there's the Sword Soul branded Ecclesia. Or the Sword Soul Albaz Ecclesia.
There's that one, and then
There's also a Ritual Ecclesia.
there's the one that's like the Crimson Virtual.
There's a lot of Ecclesias.
There's like 3 of them.
Yeah, I think Axe is correct. At most, there are 3.
I think it's the 3rd one.
I think
Zed is talking
hold on, let
about.
me
And I
check.
don't even remember the 3rd one. I need to... What
It was
tab
only
do I
Ritual.
need to activate to get this? I hate that this process requires me to have so many tabs,
the
and of
4-star
course people
Ritual's
don't
not
shut the fuck
her.
up. Okay, Marth did find me a link that... So... Yeah, so they showed all these on stream? Yeah, they showed all these on a stream. What the do you... Are you trying to do this for the ad clicks Yu-Gi-Oh organization? What the fuck are we doing here? You literally already talked about these cards. Now they're just in English. Shut the fuck up. Thank you, Marth,
Yeah,
for
there's-
finding that for me.
White Relic of Dogmatica, Ecclesia the Virtuous, Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous. Yes, no, that's literally the difference of their name.
What? I need to be on a Yu-Gi-Oh wiki apparently. No, not YouTube. Damn you, Yu-Gi Wiki.
It's the two cards are dark. The two main deck
My
cards.
God, why are?
that
Hold on, my guy, YouTube. Why are you fucking me? Why are you not saying my thumbnail? I went to my fucking YouTube main page and it's still showing me the default. I hate your guts. Show the fucking side frame thumbnail. I don't know if I spelled. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's. All right. No, White Relic is not Ecclesia. That's the different one.
Yeah, that's the.
Is it? That just looks
Is
like
Red
Ecclesia to
Cartesia?
me.
I mean, I guess the subtitle is the Virtuous, so I guess Red Cartesia is supposed
Because
to be.
she did get captured to get taken away.
Well, yeah, Cartesia. Okay, so that's a fan translation. It's Cartesia the
statline,
Red
too.
Saint.
I mean, there is definitely Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous. That's
Yeah,
another
I'm just
Ecclesia.
fucking, I hate the way wikis work. Okay.
Well, in some cases, a lot of them are going to disappear.
No, they're not. Why would they disappear? They make more money that way.
Because fandom bought a bunch of them.
But those aren't. Okay, never mind. It's a dumb fucking reference. Yes. Okay. That's really interesting. Sorry, I'm looking. Yeah, Incredible Ecclesia is also a weird one because that's just the actual Japanese for name that is just Ecclesia the White Saint. So then Cartesia the Red Saint. They say Red Cartesia the Virtuous. We're gonna see what they actually do because that card's not out yet. That is in Darkwing Blast. So we'll see if we get an official line on that. Yeah, I guess that's what we're going for, but we'll see how that works out. What does Cartesia actually do? Hold on. Because she doesn't name check any archetypes in her name. Oh, it is just Albaz support. Interesting.
Yeah, because, Incredible Ecclesia is Sword Soul Albaz.
Yes. So Red Cartesia, or just Cartesia, I guess we should say, because again, that's no guarantee that English name is real, is if Fallen of Albaz is in your field or graveyard, you can special it. She's still a tuner. Like Virtuous Ecclesia, Incredible Ecclesia, whatever. And then during fusion stuff. Interesting. Well, we'll see how that one shakes out. That's not a new card, though. That's technically a set ago in terms of OCG terms. It just hasn't come out to the TCG. And again, we will see how that works out for the name. Yeah, it's like, obviously, it kind of looks like Ecclesia with an evil makeover, but also it's very hard to tell. She has the same stats and attributes.
I mean, look how the Despia effect applies to certain monsters. Like, they look somewhat similar.
No, they don't. Despias are all original. I don't think any Despias are corrupt at anything. They just came out of the theater kid hole in the sky. Again, Cartesia is not actually named. God, it's the fact that there's no like Master Duel version of this or anything. It's hard to tell.
I mean, isn't there like a Despia version of Maximus?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I think there's a
Astrid?
card that looks vaguely like Maximus that's a Despia card, but I don't know if it is Maximus. It's oh god, he's the dude that summons himself when you fusion summon. Dramaturge.
I'll check the trivia if they say has a Despia counterpart, which is supposed to be Dramaturge. Yeah. That's though. I will say that doesn't add anything to Axe's argument. Dramaturge of Despia just looks like Maximus, only he put like some red highlights on. He is basically the same guy. He just has a pointier staff. Does he have the same stat line as Maximus? I think he does. Yeah, no, he's got reverse stat line. He's 3k attack, 1500 defense.
Yeah, and
Maximus
then
is the other way around.
Abelibitum is Fleur de Lis's counterpart.
Which is
I don't think they're the same people. I think they're just like dark versions of them. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because Fleur de Lis sheds her armor to become
her
Iris
armor's
Sword
possessed,
Soul.
Yeah.
The Iris Sword Soul, and then she probably died based on that one spell trap, which is when Ecclesia got captured.
She died after the Soul Star arc concluded. Yeah, about that. Yeah.
I mean, the Sword Soul arc is technically still ongoing. The Sword Souls are still. Albaz goes to the Sword Soul and recruits them to go punch
yeah, and then he
Despia.
fight, and then the whole fight with Aluber, and then they split off and told her things like,
Bloober doober doober.
And then we get Bestial, which is like the dragons that represent all the big boy monsters in these archetypes.
Yu-Gi-Oh lore is confusing.
I guess what we're waiting for is if there's a Zephyra equivalent to this card art where like we get everybody's powered up forms or
there's been
just
parallels
we
of,
keep going
of
through
Aluber
shit.
and Albaz being like the Drug Overlord Draco Slayer thing of being like they're two people that were split, or they one person that was split the two kind of thing.
They're definitely related because they have similar names and stuff, but one of them is Albus is white, Aluber is red, so.
I'm fairly certain that they're.
And also, I
supposed
mean,
to be,
obviously with
like-
Cartesia, they're doing that. But yeah, like I'm looking at Cartesia is all red. She's got cleavage now, which I guess is sinister.
I don't
Is
think
that
it's
Ecclesia's
literally-
sword? I think that's Iris's sword. Sorry, I'm
I
doing a
don't
lot of
think-
detective work chat can't see on stream.
If it's Iris' sword, it might it might have to.
Yes, the new ritual monster is Maximus to his maximum juice, though he also it's more than just Maximus because he's hatching out of the Despia drama theater.
He went into the
He
powered
comes
up.
out of a cosmic egg.
Egg.
He's also the core, or like the dogmatic core, or whatever you call it. Or like the Nexus, was it? I forgot the name of it.
The Dogmatica thingy.
God, fucking, I hate how wikis search. There we go. The Iris Sword Soul. I put a fucking space in this. No, okay, she's got a weird triangle sword, so it's not the same thing. Yeah, the sword Cartesia has is weird. Here, I'll actually just so chat isn't completely lost, I will pull up Cartesia's art. Yeah, the sword is weird because Ecclesia wields a hammer as her Dogmatica version, and her Sword Soul version has like a hammer made in a dragon skull. So like, I can understand with the naming and the use of the term as like this is the Red Saint, and she was captured. This
also, they usually,
is
like,
probably like
They like keeping the same stat line between characters of different versions.
yeah, and it's her same
But is
attribute
it-
even.
Here's
But
the
like,
thing, is it the corrupted or is it a mirror version? Because I've always looked at it as the mirror versions.
I mean, it's a spellcaster tuner effect, same stats, but it is a different name. And again, like I said, the term is she is Karuteshia, the Red Saint. You know, Akano Seiji. So like, it could just be a parallel similar to how Aluber is the parallel to Albaz. I don't know. Like, she's got the same stat line, but it's very hard to tell at this stage because, like, they've done so much different with this card design that I'm like, I don't see the similarities to Ecclesia that much.
Because I just said the last thing before this card showed up, there was a whole bit of Ecclesia was taken by Aluber, so.
No, it wasn't Aluber.
It was Dramaturge, right?
I'm pretty sure it was White Saint, the other one.
Oh, right.
Oh, wait,
Was
right
that a
before-
Dogmatica
right-
card?
Right, the Blue Pope girl.
Yeah, White Relic. And then...
God, Yu-Gi-Oh is lore-wise is gonna do that.
I can't wait for when it's all done and we'll actually like have this.
Are you
like,
saying
the order of
Quirtus is the
events to it.
equivalent of White Knight? That's weird.
Oh, right, I'm just remembering. It's right. Aluber became Albion, I think, and then beat Albaz. Took most of the
No,
took most of the power.
What's his Albaz is Albion.
I have nothing to add to this.
Loth doesn't know anything about branded
I
decks.
think you have I think you have the Despian dragon, or like just
No,
future dragon.
Albion is Albaz because he has the same douchey hair.
That's a good way to say it.
Branded is a weird. Albaz and Despia isn't some weird archetype that I will enjoy, so I'm like, eh.
Despia is the twisted like circus archetype, which I am 1,000% in on.
You, the man who really likes, fuck it.
Yeah, the
Abyss
new one is
Actors?
White Zoa.
Couldn't tell.
Alba Zoa of Dragma.
Dragon Ball!
Yeah, that's why they changed it to Dogmatica. I'm trying to find... Is that not a... Oh, it probably is. I just can't fucking... I am starting to hate Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki's layout for cards that are in archetypes. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Oh my god. How the fuck do I find, like, all the spell cards in an archetype? Was it Matrix? No, Matrix is that's what's his face in the thing. No, it's not Dogma
I don't know why they
Taturgi.
couldn't do it in like a grid format, just so you can see what the art is too when you're looking up the names.
I mean, well, it's a wiki box. It's really annoying to try and like figure out. Is it branded in Yes, branded in Central Dogmatica is the card I was looking for. So this is officially the last time we saw regular Ecclesia, who again, like, different hair color, slightly different hairstyle.
Right,
She's
Pope takes her
cradling
away,
Iris,
yeah.
who looks like is probably dead.
Who got tortured? Yeah.
There is a weird, freaky Iron Maiden thing back there, yeah. And then there's the White Relic, who is the new saint they made after Ecclesia.
There's a weird thing about there was a previous card that was Iris who's just floating in an ice jade chamber after she got like wounded. So,
yeah,
like,
that would be some Ice Jade card, which I'm
there was
not
an ice
familiar
jade
with
card
because
of her
they're
like
bad.
healing, and then there's a card of this where she got killed.
I mean, they're not that bad.
I mean, I haven't actually played them, but I never was sold on them. Nobody ever explained me what Ice Jade does that's cool and unique, and I'm just like, okay, they're weird water ladies.
They do.
And like,
unique.
nobody really.
Unique is probably a bad word.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there was no selling on Ice Jade. They just kind of exist.
Ice Jade are.
And
like
considering
a lot of
they're a storyline archetype that were basically started in the same stats as we started getting like Despia and Sword Soul. It's a real tough sell, guys.
Sword Soul, like narrative-wise, the Ice Jade live, but the Sword Soul live above where the Ice Jade live.
Well, yeah, no, I
No,
got
no.
that part. They're together, and obviously they're still part of the fight because, like I said, there's a new Synchro Ice Jade.
Ice Jade are one of them engine type of things. There's a lot of good Ice Jade engine decks. Like, I mean, they're kind of just water deck again. They're like ice barriers, but like good. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
mean,
there is
like,
also
great, but, like,
well,
they're
rebranded
functional.
has Cartesia, but is that? Let me check the trivia. That has Bisted Druid Worm on it. I guess yeah, Druid Worms does kind of look like Brigand the Glory Dragon. That was the first form that guy had.
Oh, the Cypher card.
I'm looking for this card.
Yeah, Brigand the Slifer the Sky Dragon.
Yes. You know, because you use Slifer for that bit. The card, by the way, is just called Rebranded. If a later Dark Monster is banished except for a damage step, target one of those monsters, put it at the bottom of the deck and draw a card. You can use this effect once per turn. If your opponent normal specials a monster during the damage step, target a bestial monster in your graveyard, special summon it.
It is Cartesia doing the same like hug thing that Ecclesia did to Elbaz.
Yeah,
Not
I
quite,
think
but yeah.
Cartesia
Is a
maybe-
corrupted Ecclesia.
Maybe.
Yeah, like I said, it's hard to tell exactly. I guess that means that Druid Worm is supposed to be Albaz stuck back in one of his dragon forms. So we'll see how that works out.
Albaz.
I mean, the
Anyways,
level
I
is
gotta head
completely wrong. Yeah, I know. We're fucking around because people keep mentioning shit.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm just
Well, yeah. This is the thing. The Abyss, World of Abyss storyline or whatever is like really convoluted.
Yeah.
It has
Um,
it goes through a bunch of things, but there's a
Yeah.
through line, but because it's only through images, it's hard to gather sometimes.
Yeah, they do a decent job of advancing the storyline, but they will occasionally go back. Like, I am technically pretty sure that
All of Splade is a side arc.
yes, no, Splate are technically in that archetype as well. But they're a side encounter that like Kit and I think one of the Springans has while they're
They're
at the
trying
gold
to-
saucer.
They're basically trying to get fight because the
By the way,
Tri
whatever
Brigades
the fuck
have
happened to
this
Therions?
They have like Therion are like the things they're fighting at the saucer.
No, I meant chat. What happened to Therions? That was an archetype. What happened to those guys?
But so
Well,
the whole
that-
bit
Omega, that's the problem. They're not an archetype.
True.
They
They're-
are an engine.
they're
True
additions to
facts.
other pits. But the whole bit is that Sprite are supposedly like this energy that the Tri Brigade were using to fight the branded.
Anyway, I gotta go.
So yeah. So it's like they're trying to find the source of the power to be like the last end twist.
It is true. Like, we really pivoted hard into Sword Soul as the good guys. The Tri-Brigades really fucked off hard.
Wait, I thought some of them were kind of because like the only good ones were like the main villain one, like the evil young one. I can't remember his name. I guess.
But I mean, no, the
traitor.
Sword Souls were all Yeah, the sword souls are all okay. I think one of them got 8, but then he's getting fused with another thing to make the new guy they're making. But
because one of them betrayed them for power and so on.
But like, no, I'm saying is like, Tri-Brigade were also good because they were resisting the Dogmatica Nation. What the fuck happened to those guys?
I think they're just kind of around somewhere because it's like Kit is on the sideline because
They died.
actually no,
because...
they're helping Albaz fight to go save Ecclesia. Kind of. There's an art
But-
of Albaz holding the knife. Yeah.
They're not though, because Albaz is also captured. Everybody's captured.
So I guess that last fight failed.
I'm wondering if perhaps that this is one of those cases of what we call real life writes the plot, where there was plans for more Tri-Brigade lore stuff, but then Tri-Brigade became a really fucking meta deck that had to get cards limited and banned. And I do think Revolt was actually limited
I have to go find
OCG.
it, but I know there's an art that's showing Albaz with like a horn and then like Tri-Brigade's behind him.
I think that card is old though.
Right? I think okay. It was like the last. It was like fair before the Cartesia thing happened. Might be old.
God,
I was just thinking,
again,
like,
I
'cause it's
fucking
like-
hate the way wikis lay out their shit. Like, you should, if you're gonna talk about the archetype, talk about the whole goddamn archetype. Okay, there's
I can't
Oath,
wait for the
Rendezvous.
Albaz story. I can't wait for the Albaz like solo mode. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, Oath is just them talking. Rendezvous is them just meeting up with some guys.
Don't
Well, technically, Rendezvous is they got. I think they Tri-Brigade Rendezvous is they got captured by the Springans. There is Bear Brum, which is Kit in her power armor.
I don't think it's a Tri-Brigade card.
Okay, no, you were talking about Tri-Brigade Last Stand. That is probably not a good sign. Yes, that is Albaz.
That was like that's Albaz going to say
That is also in Darkwing Blast. Yeah, so I guess we can tell that based on Bestial, that did not go well.
Yeah, because I think he transformed.
That does
and fucked
show
up.
Mercourier and I think Shirag, but he's a little beat up, so it's hard to tell. It definitely has Farajit. Also, translation could be Tri-Brigade Deadline. On the other hand, this is a pretty decent Tri-Brigade card. You get to, whenever a Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast are specialed, except during the damage step, target one of your banished Tri-Brigades, add it to your hand, so it lets you recycle, and then after
That's
damage
pretty good.
calc, if a Tri-Brigade monster battled an opponent's monster, return that monster to the hand. You can only use your effect once per turn.
That's pretty good. It also lets you like
Yeah.
I guess re-add your entire like banished from Graveline.
Well, no, it's only once per turn, so.
Fair,
But yeah,
little
like I said,
flexibility.
I'll have to double check some of the Bestial cards and spell traps when they come out. I thought the implication was that either Albaz and Aluber already fused back and became a new evil boy, or
they fused
Albaz
and
got
Albaz
captured.
broke off, but Luber took most of the power.
Yeah. So he got captured after that, and I think that's why he's Druid Worm now. Probably, possibly. I would assume if the card called Rebranded is trying to tell me something. Anyway, if you want to get more about this, there are a fuck ton of like graphics that try and explain the direction of the card releases. It gets very confusing because there's like 4 lines. Like we said, Kit is trying to figure out ways to help Albaz because she's too much of a baby to go with him to
Supposedly
Last
the
Stand.
sprite's blue energy is something that opposes the brands or something.
So we'll see.
The brains.
I don't think Sprite and Branded actually interact that much in the meta, but there's stuff out there. And Cartesia is definitely an interesting card because she is just Albaz support. Like I think she flows well with the Bestial stuff, but like this is just a Branded / Albaz engine is Cartesia. It's very interesting. Also, what the fuck happened to White Relic? Are they just fine because they got their red? They got their Red Saint now. They don't need the White Saint. Who the fuck knows?
I mean, she was the new pope that they made to take the place as the entire time
Yes,
got
their new saint.
corrupted. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, not the Pope, the Saint, because Maximus is Pontiff Maximus. He's the Pope. That's why he's got a big hat.
Saint Pope.
Now, why did he turn into a giant white snake man? I don't know.
People have theorized that he was always a plant to like cause this whole thing to happen.
Oh, I
in the
mean, I'm
beginning.
pretty sure because he becomes Despia Dramaturge, yes, he was a plant. Like, it's very clear from the way that, from the beginning, that the Dogmatica guys were not the good guys. Like, they are clearly the church of the bad. And like, once
Whoever
people
was
started
good
to
left.
question them, that's when they like opened a hole in the sky and Despia came out. And then it's kind of like, again, the timeline is also weird because like, Albaz and Ecclesia have fucking anime-ass adventures for a while. Like, they go to the
They do
desert
some-
and shit.
They do some. I think some cards are literally meant to be to fill in, or later added to fill in the empty time blocks too.
Yes, true, because, like, we're cycling out the archetypes. Anyway, let's see. It's after
Yes, we
midnight.
have
We're recording for
filler
3
on.
hours. We got a blank card. Again, like Axe said, you know, if you guys finish this, when you finally get through all of World Legacy Master Duel, give me the Albaz one, because that's, like, what, 5, 6 decks with variants?
Oh, God,
It
and
also
yeah,
it's also kind of
and
an
you get a
it's kind of an
5K
engaging story at least.
Well, I'd love a story that makes sense. They have also maybe they'll just put out a master guide that explains everything because they've done a little, like they've explained a little bit about Dogmatica, but like there's a lot to go. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I see that we were up to 13 viewers for a while. We dropped down a couple, but you know views grew, and it took you guys a while to interface. So I guess you guys weren't interested in us bitching about the ban list. It was a week old. It's fair. But yeah, this has been Fail Portrayal. Well, hopefully Dallas can text me. I'm going to try and set up the next Fail Portrayal poll soon, so I will talk with these guys off mic about that.
Can I not vote so Dallas can win?
No, like
Okay.
I still need something from the list because it got replaced.
Sure,
But
I'll-
you
I'll-
also, yes, you are a patron. You don't have to vote in the poll. I don't know. I don't care.
Fair enough.
I would
already
actually,
have-
I would honestly prefer
I
if
have
somebody
my
other
fifth.
than Dallas won because like people
Fair.
other than you and Dallas could win sometime maybe. But anyway, that's a technical discussion for a different time. Thank you so much for
Okay.
tuning in, everybody. If you missed any earlier parts, you can go back and watch the VOD. Please go watch our other ones. I know a lot of people didn't engage with our Element Saber one, but you should check it out. There's some stuff there.
We try.
You know, we threw in Element Lords as well.
We have to,
But other than that, we're going to continue on. I think Ruin and Demise is our next Master
Yeah.
Duel
yeah.
story mode. Yeah.
I think
We may
that
need to
was
come up with
technically
some
that
other
long, I
pack
think.
filler for that. Maybe there'll be some more news in the next week we can jam on or something. But yeah,
We can throw in Chalice Slime and all those ones.
we'll figure
we
out
could-
something.
I guess we can do.
What archetype is next in the solo mode after Ruin and Demise?
I don't remember.
Wasn't it Monarchs?
No, Demonish
No,
was first.
we did watch beforehand.
Oh, okay. Fuck if I know. I can't remember.
It wasn't 6 Sam.
Let's see. Solo modes. Megalith. We might be able to do those both at once.
Because honestly, there's not that many megaliths.
Yeah, because megaliths are also ritual monsters, and I think there's not that many of them. I'll have a count. We might do a double feature. We'll see. But like I said, if you want to vote in our non-Master Duel solo mode lineup as we, recover from our great big dual terminal extravaganza, be sure to join us on Patreon. The 5 and up level does it. And thank you so much for tuning, everybody. Hope to see you guys next week for that. Go watch our Monday stream as well, and should be getting back to Final Fantasy XIV streaming tomorrow as well. Technically today, because it's after midnight here. Anyway, goodbye, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Have a good day.